Good morning, Raptor freaks. Lexi Otts here. It's Friday, and we are back in NBA action tonight for the Raptors against the Miami Heat on Caribbean night at the Scotiabank Arena. The Raptors will be facing off the new look Miami Heat. It'll be, I believe, it's our fourth game of the season against them. They are 2-1 against us. So if we win the game tonight, we'll even the season series with the Miami Heat at 2-2, and that's what I'd like to do, honestly. The Heat have lost 4 straight before the All-Star break, and they're still reeling a bit from the Jimmy Butler fallout of his departure and his problems with playing for Pat Riley and the Miami Heat. Well, they haven't gotten their footing yet in the new era after Jimmy yet. They're still having problems figuring it out. And they have lingering injuries and different people that are stepping into the starting lineup very recently. So they're susceptible to get beat. That's what I'm going to say. ESPN last night, the matchup predictor had us 52% to win, 48% for the Miami Heat. So we are favored tonight to win. So send the memo out to Tank Nation. They need to shut the hell up because this very much might be a game where the Raptors want to win and come out there and kick some ass. Scotty Barnes, of course, said, in an interview this week, he ain't trying to lose for nothing. He's trying to win. He don't care about ping pong balls, and he ain't in Tank Nation. And he don't know what y'all are talking about when you talk about ping pong balls and all that kind of stuff. He's just out there trying to win for the Raptors, and that's the right action, mentality, and attitude that Scotty Barnes should have. And I wish more fans would follow his leadership as far as how he feels about the difference between tanking for ping pong balls and winning games as a young unit, developing and striving to get better more and more. All right, let's get into it. It's been a little while. Let's see if I remember how to do this. Let's go look at the lineup news first. The Raptors have an interesting injury report coming back from the break. PJ Tucker is out. He's personally out. I don't even know I do that. It's a formality. PJ Tucker is out, y'all. The last couple of days, there was some hope that Pirtle would be able to come back tonight, but he was ruled out late last night after practice that he will not be playing today, guys. So no Yak yet. It won't be tonight when he returns to the lineup, unfortunately. And that is a huge factor on whether the Raptors will win or not. Is Jakob Pirtle going to be playing? Well, tonight he is not, unfortunately. I have to say Jakob will not be playing. Of course, Shamshe is now on the injury list for the rest of the year. He was diagnosed with a partial proximal MCL tear in his right knee, and he'll miss the remainder of the season. And, well, Shamshe is going to be wearing street clothes and sitting on the Raptors bench. I don't think he'll be around 905 very much at all at this point down near around that team, unfortunately. But that's because he can't play. So in some ways, it's better for him to be sitting with the Raptors at Scotiabank Arena instead of going all around the country with the G League team, where they're in Westchester today, guys. There is a game tonight against the Westchester Knicks in New York, and the 905 are there, and that's where they'll be playing. AJ Lawson is the only rostered member of the Raptors that is with the 905, and that includes Jarrett Roden, who is with the Raptors tonight. AJ Lawson's with the 905. That is it. All the rookies are with the Raptors and not in New York. So, yeah, we'll go over who's where and what a little bit more. Brandon Ingram, of course, is out with his ankle also. There's no clear target date for making his debut, but he isn't projected to play for at least a month. That is the news that I'm seeing for Brandon. But good news is nobody else is listed. And that means we got most everybody else. Barbecue is intact with Barnes, Barrett, and Quickly. And then Grady Dick, of course, is healthy and playing. So we'll probably see Jonathan Mobo starting at center tonight. Scotty Barnes, Jonathan Mobo, 4-5 combo, tag team action, Road Warriors. Let's go. And of course, everybody else seems to be healthy. The young bench of Jamal Shed, Jacoby Walter, Oshai Abaji, Jameson Battle, Orlando Robinson, Chris Boucher, and Garrett Temple. Yeah, that's kind of our bench at this point. So, yeah, Raptors are going to be missing Yak. That's really the main person that we've been playing this year that is going to be missing. The Heat do have some injuries on their injury list. Kevin Love is definitely out tonight. Kevin Love is out for personal reasons. I guess he's maybe not even in Canada. There could be different reasons. Who knows? But Kevin Love will not be available to the Miami Heat tonight. Tyler Hero is probable for tonight. He had 40 in the last game before the break. trying to carry them, but it was still a loss for the Miami Heat. In some ways, this is the Achilles heel for the Heat right now, is that they're not producing enough points to outscore the other team. So in some ways, if the Raptors can just get good points production from balance from the barbecue and Grady and a couple other guys, we could outscore the Miami Heat because they have no firepower right now. Jimmy Butler left, and people like Bam and Tyler are half hurt, and they have been missing in action for certain games. And, well, the last game the Heat played, Tyler Hero was the only one who was making any points for them. Everybody else, single digits, and Tyler had to carry them completely with 40 points. That's why I'm saying these guys are susceptible, and my scout and watching where their patterns and their trends are. Now, they're a little bit more healthy coming out of the All-Star break than before it, but still, they do have some injuries. Tyler Hero has a shoulder injury, and he is probable tonight, so he probably will play. Drew Smith has had surgery in December, and he is out still with his ruptured left Achilles tendon. And that's pretty much the Miami Heat's injury report right there. So who are the Heat now post Jimmy Butler? Well, Tyler Hero at point guard, Duncan Robinson, shooting guard, Andrew Wiggins, the Maple Jordan, will be starting at small forward. So Andrew will be playing against his hometown tonight. So we'll see Andrew Wiggins in a Miami Heat jersey for the first time. Bam Adebayo is the power forward, and they've elevated their rookie Kel'el Ware to the starting lineup. So there will be a Kel'el Ware starter in the lineup. Now, this is interesting because Yak's out, and it'll be Mobo. So this may be a kind of a fair fight. We know Kel'el is very, very long and a very, very fiery player. But who knows? Maybe rookie versus rookie at the center tonight will be a great matchup of J-Mo versus Kel'el. So we're going to have to see this. Kel'el Ware is starting center for the Miami Heat right now. Davion Mitchell is the backup point guard. The return of Davion Mitchell to the Raptors' home court will be interesting. I don't know if Mitchell's got an axe to burn with us. I don't know how he feels about us and how we traded him just now. If he's angry at us, well, we may see a certain fire and compete from Davion Mitchell, former Raptor, just a couple weeks ago. So that'll be an interesting matchup, Davion versus Emmanuel and Jamal, considering the amount of work that they put in together already this year. So it'd be very, very interesting. Of course, the backcourt off the bench for the Miami Heat is Davion and Terry Rozier. Talk about terrorism. These guys are very terroristic as far as like guarding the ball, getting on your ass with Davion, and then just being scary Terry on the offense. So, yeah, Jaime Vasquez Jr., Nikola Jovic, Alec Burks, Haywood Highsmith, Kyle Anderson, Slow-Mo Anderson is coming off the bench for them, rookie Pele Larson, and then also Josh Christopher is in their system on their G League team and playing as a two-way for them right now. So that's the Miami Heat right now with no Jimmy, and it's a very different look. And they're starting Kel'el Ware now, guys. So that's the latest lineup news for the Raptors game tonight. Very, very interesting stuff right there. Yeah, the 905 is not going to have the best unit. Eugene is there. AJ is there. Frank the Tank is there. Kennedy Chandler, all the rest of them. But none of the rookies are with them at this point right now for this trip to Westchester. The game time is 7:30 tonight, and they will be both on at the exact same time. So double screen watching duty if you're a diehard Raptors freak like me and you want to see both the games. We're going to have you two screens to be able to watch them both. Westchester Knicks against the 905 tonight. And, well, let's take it to them, Canadian guys, AJ Lawson and Eugene Omoruyi. Yeah, I want to see some good stuff. We'll have to see tonight if the Raptors are going to play Jared Rhoden against the Miami Heat tonight. This actually is a good matchup for Jared to get involved in. This kind of game, this team we're playing against, he's a great, great, great person for the Raptors to use in their rotation. So I hope that Darko will use Jared Rhoden tonight against the Miami Heat because he's that good all-around assist, rebound, scorer talent that could be very, very good in this particular matchup with this franchise. So, yeah, let's look at the refs for tonight. First of all, the referees for the G League game in Westchester. The crew chief will be Tyler Merkovich, number 41. The referees, Ken Jones, number 40, and AJ Ganelli is the umpire, number 62. All right, here's the ever-famous ref report signature segment, Raptor Freak signature segment. The ref report is in your face right now. Our crew chief tonight will be James Williams from Memphis, Tennessee, 15th season in the league, number 60. His favorite TV show is Snowfall. He likes the movie Shawshank Redemption. His favorite book is The Soul of Money. His favorite meal is soul food. His favorite app is Ref Masters. He'd most like to visit Africa. His bucket list is to become the mayor of Chicago. And his hidden talent is rapping. I don't think this was on here before. Is James Williams has got some rap skills? Like he can do some bars? That's fantastic. I hope James will appreciate Caribbean night at the Scotiabank Arena tonight. The vibes are going to be strong, James. And hopefully you can feel the soul of our home arena tonight and maybe give us some home cooking. Although, I'll tell you something in a sec. James Williams enjoys reading, sports, movies, travel, working out, and biking. Yeah, he's out there cyclist. Now James is not very nice to the Raptors in many respects as a referee. His career total with us is not very good. It's 42%. It is a little bit above our franchise winning percentage cumulative over the 30 years, but 49% is the winning percentage with James Williams. We have won the last game he refereed us was during the great month that we had recently in this year so far, where we won like 8 out of our 10 games. Well, he was reffing one of those games. So we are 1-1 season with James Williams. We've won 1 and lost 1. And the Miami Heat, well, he favors them. They have a 52% win percentage with the crew chief tonight. So 49-52 for the Miami Heat with the crew chief, James Williams. The second ref is a ref we've seen quite a few times this year, is Ray Acosta, number 54, his 8th season out of Elizabeth, New Jersey. He likes gangster stuff. He likes The Sopranos, The Scarface. He listens to Michael Jackson. His favorite book is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He'll eat anything Italian. He watches Netflix. He most like to visit the Maldives and be in a shark tank surrounded by great white sharks in Australia. And his hidden talent is dancing. So maybe we could get James Williams to spit some bars, and we'll get Ray Acosta to put some slick moves on out there. I hope these guys really feel the vibes tonight at Caribbean night. I'm telling you, Ray Acosta enjoys working out, traveling, going to movies, and attending concerts in his off time. Yeah, Ray, we've had quite a few times this year so far. He is the worst referee for the Raptors today, just so y'all know. We are 500 with him also. We've won 2 games this year and lost 2 games that he's been present at. And we won the last game that he refereed. We win 46% of our games with Ray Acosta historically. And the Miami Heat win 59% of their games. So 46-59 is the split for the second ref, Ray Acosta, favoring the Miami Heat. So there's 2 refs favoring the Heat right there. The junior ref, the last ref, the third ref is Matt Myers, number 43 in his 7th season out of St. Louis, Missouri. Yeah, his favorite TV show is The Wire. He likes the movie Shawshank Redemption also. So it's a Shawshank Redemption night, guys, with a couple of the refs loving Shawshank Redemption. Favorite musician is Jay-Z. He likes the book A Promised Land. He'll get down to eat some buffalo wings. His favorite app is Words with Friends. He'd like to visit Bora Bora, attend the Masters, and his hidden talent is golf. So these 2 other guys are dancing and rapping, and you're golfing? Come on now. Don't be like an idiot president down there. Get off the links and get a real talent. Matt Myers is what I'm going to say. People say golf has a talent, Lex. Don't be dissing that sport. All right, I guess. A talent. You're going to hit a little ball with a club. All right, maybe I should respect Kyle Lowry's love. I guess I should. Matt Myers' other interests include photography, golf, and pickleball. We have it as your hidden talent. It already see that you're into golf. Matt Myers is awesome, though. I'm going to be nice to him. He's the top 5 ref for the Raptors. Statistically right now, we lost 2 games this year with him. We have not won a game so far this year that he's refereed. Only 2 games, 0-2. But we win 60% of our games. He's up near the top with Goldenberg and the other guys that are near the top for us. So this is a good thing. Matt Myers, 60% winning percentage for the Raptors. And for the Miami Heat, 44%. So he's the only ref that statistically favors the Toronto Raptors tonight. The third ref, Matt Myers, 60-44 is the split on that. So yeah, it's a ref crew that it does not favor the Raptors. James Williams, I don't trust, but maybe we can get a little bit of home cooking tonight because it is our arena, and we'll see. One of the things for this game is it's the first game back after All-Star, and everybody's going to be a little bit or a little bit off, or a little bit like getting jump started to start the playing again. And in some ways, there may be some guys who just don't show up yet today because they're not ready. There may be some guys who play really, really well tonight because they are. So we'll have to see tonight. It's always weird, the first game after All-Star break. But at least we're at home. And at least they got a really long like break before they started again. Instead of having to play like Wednesday or last night, they had a couple extra days to the break, unlike some of the other NBA teams who had to play last night. Yeah, and we've also had a couple practices in the last couple days, which is fantastic, and that's very helpful to get kind of the All-Star game break funk shaken off and saying, yeah, it's back to work, and let's get back out there. So yeah, I'm really, really. I think we can win tonight. I want to win. I'm not trying to be, let's collect L's for Cooper Flag and that. In fact, there was a funny story out yesterday saying that Cooper Flag is actually considered back to Duke for next season. All these people in Tank Nation gonna get into it with their feelings. If Cooper Flag, after all this, declares that he is staying at Duke for one more year, wow, what are all these idiots who've been chiming about capture the flag all year gonna feel like after that? And I said it yesterday. I was like, if this happens, I'm gonna be laughing my ass off on the floor for like 10 straight minutes if Cooper Flag decides to go back for another year of Duke. And I was like, Monique's going to be laughing too. We're going to be laughing because that would be the most funniest thing if Cooper Flag did not declare this year and he stayed for one more year. Of course, then there would be a whole other hype train for a whole other year next year. This is probably going to happen more often if this does actually happen because of the NIL. The money is in college. The impetus to jump out of college and go to the NBA is not as strong anymore because they can actually make money in college now. And for some players, you know what? They may actually make more money in college being a college player for a full 4 years than coming in as maybe an undrafted player or even like a guy who's getting rookie scale for where they got drafted in the second round. So it's pretty interesting. The way NIL may change players and how long they stay in college. Of course, there's an interview with Norman Powell out this week. He's on the Old Man in the Three with JJ Redick's little buddy that does the show now that JJ Redick is masquerading as an NBA coach for the Lakers right now. And Norman talks about how the Raptors were very smart when they drafted a lot of the players around him in the bench mob because they drafted guys just like they drafted this year that came in prepared mentally and had played a long college career already so that they didn't need as much development once they hit the NBA. And Norman, DeLon, OG, Pascal, Fred, Jakob, those guys were advanced and kind of AP students, as I said before, and they came in and they were ready to help right away. And that's something the Raptors did once again this past year in the draft with the 5 rookies that they drafted with Jamal and Jonathan and Jameson and Jacoby. So that's the bread and butter. That's the calling card of the Raptors wave of development coming up. Go get these guys that have maybe played 4 years of college and they're a little bit more savvy and NBA ready than a guy who just did one and done and came into the league. Because there's a lot of guys that come one and done in the league and, well, they suck. They really do suck. It's crazy. All right, here we go. We'll get into the chat now and see what y'all are saying on this glorious day of a doubleheader. Another chance for the Raptors to get a double W today for both teams. Let's see if it's going to be in the cards tonight, and hopefully we can get 2 big dubs. Dub. Let's get those big dubs in the chat. That's right. Trevor's saying, be thankful every chance you get, not because life has been easy, perfect, or exactly as you anticipated, but because you choose to be happy and grateful for all the good things you do have and all the problems you don't have. Yeah. People can be miserable and they could have almost everything they need in the world for sure. They could have everything they need and they're miserable. It's not about having everything. It's about having fulfillment in your life and accepting life on life's terms. And it's also about gratitude and understanding the things that you have that you're blessed with, like Trevor's saying, but also the things that you don't have that you're blessed that you don't have to deal with. It really, really is tough for some people to get out of their own head and have a different perspective these days. Some people are just so damn selfish these days. They cannot put themselves in somebody else's shoes. There's something wrong with those people if they have no empathy. And there's more and more of them growing, and they're in the MAGA union, the MAGA movement. So I'm just going to say, be grateful for what you don't have to deal with, because in some ways that will make you happy alone right there. Be grateful that you can see. Be grateful that you can hear. Be grateful for all kinds of things like I am able to have a roof over my head. I am grateful for having clothes on my back. You get to those basic gratefulness, everything else is easy after that, because none of the other stuff that's not life threatening or important for you to live in some ways doesn't actually matter. Don't get mad at me because your Netflix won't work. Come on now. If that's your first world problem, your life is pretty damn good. My Netflix is not working today. I hate my life. Get over yourself. Your life is good if your worst problem in your life is your Netflix ain't working. So there you go. Words of wisdom from Trevor J, and I'll extrapolate off of them right there. Thank you, Commissioner J. You are a huge, huge, huge part of this channel, and the things that you do for me are so appreciated, Trevor. I'm going to say that. I got to say that all the time, and make sure you understand just how much you mean to me as far as what you do on the channel. Seriously, day in, day out, he is here for me, and he is providing such great help finding information all throughout the day. Trevor J is a true all-star MVP for the Raptor Freak channel. Just is. That's just how it is. Let's see. Trevor's saying that Scotty and Cam Johnson of the Brooklyn Nets saying the same thing about winning and not about what the fans want. They want to win games. Yeah. And this is what I'll say to people. I love Scotty shaming Tank Nation right now. It's just right. I said this on my channel in the last week, y'all. Y'all like Scotty? Well, y'all ain't going with Scotty and what he wants to do. Y'all are big Scotty fans. Well, he doesn't like y'all in Tank Nation because he ain't hearing it. He ain't having it. It's like, what is the even point of playing the NBA if you're trying to set yourself up to lose on purpose? Do you not understand? Some of these people that are Tank Nation, some of them may not have ever played organized sports, it seems. Maybe they're more likely to have a fantasy team and be betting on a sports betting app than actually ever picking up a basketball and getting on the court and competing in any kind of form of basketball. I feel like that sometimes because these people so easily throw away the whole idea of what sports is to compete and to try and win against your opponent. It's like, what do you expect? Cam Johnson, salute to you and standing on this too in Brooklyn Nation, because I'm sure that y'all are going through this similar kind of thing. Your fans are all like, we can't win anymore. We don't want to win anymore. We need more ping pong balls, Jordy. Stop coaching the team so well. Y'all are winning too much. We're better than the Raptors. How did that happen? All that kind of stupid shit is probably going on in Net Station also. But yeah, these superstars on their teams, they're standing and saying, you know what, this is what our job is to try and win games. And practicing and not trying to win, well, that's not a practice that I want to learn. No, that's not something I want to get good at. Losing. Yeah, we're going to practice losing. Come on, listen to yourself, Tank Nation, and listen to Scotty. He's told you how he feels about things. Now it's up to you whether you want to listen and get with the program. How about that? Yeah, there you go. Trevor J saying that is sucks for Victor out for the rest of the season with a blood clot to the right shoulder. I hate this so much. When I saw the news yesterday breaking that Victor Wembanyama is shutting down for the rest of the season, I was so mad. In some ways, this is my first world problem. Oh, Lex, your life's so bad. You bought tickets to see the San Antonio Spurs against the Raptors next month, and Victor Wembanyama is not going to play now. Oh, woe is me. Nah, man. In some ways, I got to get over this. It is what it is. I'll go and see the Spurs besides him, Jeremy Sohan and De'Aaron Fox and all the rest of the crew. And next year, hopefully, I'll get tickets to the Spurs game again, God willing, and maybe I'll get to see Wemby playing live next year because I missed out in rookie year. I didn't go to the Spurs game last year, and I regretted it immediately because it was his rookie year, and I want to see Wemby in real life. I got to see this 7'5" France giant in real life, but my opportunities have been getting messed up. And the one yesterday is, unfortunately, a blood clot issue. A lot of Spurs fans are very, very worried about this. Of course, this is something we dealt with Koloko recently. Chris Bosh's career was ended because of blood clots. It's a very, very serious thing. And, man, Spurs fans are counting their blessings in some ways because they feel like he might have caught it. They might have caught it early so that they can diagnose it and fix it before it gets any worse. Because sometimes these blood clot issues, they go in and diagnose and they get worse. And then something like Chris Bosh happens where you just can't ever play again in the NBA. So hopefully he can get the right kind of treatment and he can be ready for next year. But this really throws everything out the window for the Spurs as far as trying to make the play-in and do anything in the playoffs. They actually look like they could be kind of dangerous in the playoffs with Victor around, with the addition of De'Aaron Fox and the new look with Chris Paul and stuff like that. But at this point, they ain't doing jack shit without their big, huge number one guy. And that sucks. I hate this so much. It's really annoying. If this is my first world problem, I'll take it. I'll take it. Yeah. Let's see. Trevor saying Jacoby was named Raptors team ambassador for MLSE Launchpad. Shut up. Showed up. He said, shut up. He showed up with all the Raptors last night. Yeah, they did a team event last night. I got a cool cover photo for our Facebook group for the Raptor Free family, impromptu kind of team group photo. I love those kind of photos. And it's fantastic. Of course, MLSE Launchpad is a community center for Toronto youth to go to and get a space to play basketball and have somewhere to go after school. Jacoby Walter is the new ambassador for this. He'll be the third one in Raptors history. The people before him were Jakob Poeltl was the ambassador before him, and Fred VanVleet was the ambassador for MLSE Launchpad before that. And it's just a fantastic program. Jacoby talking about how if he had this in his community, he'd be there every day. If as a youth, if he had something like MLSE Launchpad growing up, just coming down there playing hoops and having good mentors and good vibes and good things happening around their community center to help keep kids on the right path and staying out of trouble. In some ways, that's what MLSE Launchpad is all about. Of course, Jacoby got the whole entire team to come for the speech, and it surprised the kids, and it's awesome. They're all walking out and waving to the kids, and of course, they set up drill games like pick up the cone and doing all this kind of stuff. And the Raptors were really getting into it from the footage. Really getting into it. Grady Dick and RJ Barrett in particular were very, very competitive with the children as far as the clap, pick up the cone before the other person picks it up. That was really fun to see those clips. And then the other thing that stuck out to me about the MLSE Launchpad was Scotty. Scotty's energy was so jubilant and so energetic and just fun. And he was so proud of Jacoby, you could tell, for being the ambassador and doing his public speaking. Because right after he did it, Scotty ran up to him and he was like laughing and grabbing him and kind of giggling. So, yeah, Scotty's in cloud nine, honestly. He seems like he's really, really happy right now. And I love that. He seems re-energized and recharged for the rest of the season. Because, man, he went to a beautiful island and got some sunshine and beach and warmth. And, well, he's back in Toronto. And, well, Toronto's cold and got a bunch of snow. That means it's all business here, baby. It's time to go back to work and snuff out the heat up here in Toronto tonight. That's right. I love it. Jacoby Walter, you keep going. You're the perfect person out of all the Raptors to do the ambassadorship for MLSE Launchpad. Seriously, you're right on point. Masai was there too yesterday, smiling and having a good time. And even Scotty, RJ, and Emmanuel, a couple of them were actually doing TikToks with the kids and stuff like that. So very, very cool stuff yesterday, the team event at MLSE Launchpad. And it's so cool to see everybody there, including Jared Roden and Brandon Ingram being at that kind of event and getting more seeing what the Raptors are all about and the team camaraderie. I think Brandon's just loving it so far. Trevor's saying, y'all, Cooper Flag supporters feel that he decided to stay with Duke for another season and not enter the draft. Yeah, it's not official or anything yet. It's just a rumor. But boy, wouldn't that be funny? In some ways, that's why I'm saying y'all can't make plans on what you want exactly to happen in the draft because anything can happen before the draft. Nothing's set in stone. In fact, right up until that team takes the podium and says that with the fifth pick, the Toronto Raptors will select Kamen Mulak from Duke University. You know, up until that happens, there's all kinds of little things that can happen real quick that can change and divert and move people into different picks. So everybody gets so set on it's got to be Cooper or bust or we're no good. You know, that's so stupid because you're putting this eggs in one basket, and this guy might even be available for the draft at that point. So let's go with the flow and let the experts do their job. And y'all at home can just enjoy the games. Watch the game tonight. Enjoy the Caribbean vibes and watch the games instead of trying to manufacture the GM position of Bobby Webster in your own damn head, trying to tell everybody what they should do. Because it's a fast-paced job and everything's changing all the time. And they have knowledge and proprietary information that not the general public don't get. So, you know, Cooper Flag steps out of the draft and considerations and withdraws from being in the draft this year. A lot of hot air and a lot of talking and a lot of pining and a lot of bullshit comments all over the internet were for nothing. And it was stupid. And I'm just glad I wasn't a capture the flag kind of person if this does happen. Seriously, it'd be crazy. Monique's here. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Happy game day. How are we feeling about tonight? I want to hear from this time popping in for a bit. Congratulations, Monica Rogers, general manager of Toronto Tempo. Yeah, big day for the Toronto Tempo yesterday. February 20th, 2025 will be known as the day that Teresa Resch introduced the very first general manager of the WNBA Toronto Tempo. And it was a fantastic set. Holy crap. I love the purple with the whole color scheme of the Toronto Tempo up on the wall. It just was a very professional, slick looking backdrop for the press conference last night, yesterday. Unfortunately, this sucks. And this is a pattern that's been happening with the Tempo so far. I think there's little gremlins in the system. They're trying to mess up Teresa and Larry's endeavor with the Toronto Tempo. It could very well be some of the big media giants that own MLSE are getting in the way somehow, some way. I don't know, because Tannenbaum's company is not with them. Well, it's so stupid. They posted the press conference on YouTube on CP24's website, so they're the ones to blame, with no audio. It's like, first of all, Toronto Tempo has a leaked name, leaked before they want to even announce the name, which they want to do in January. It was leaked in December. And then I didn't really agree with them dropping all their swag all at once. Like it seemed like thousands of products of Toronto Tempo gear that they can buy. I didn't agree with that because it seems like, you want some special original items, but that was their personal choices, their choices as a franchise. But now they introduce the GM and they have the press conference and nobody can hear the press conference because you go to the YouTube clip. And I don't know if Tempo knows this, and hopefully they can fix it, because I'd like to hear the whole press conference. That's something that I want to equally cover the Toronto Tempo as the Toronto Raptors. Well, the media better not be trying to get in the middle of it. Is there some misogynistic asshole guy who's like, nobody cares about women's sports anyway, I'm just not going to turn the volume on? No, motherfucker, we do care. And I do want to hear what Teresa Resch introduces Monica Rogers as a brand new GM of the Toronto Tempo in the whole press conference. So what the hell's wrong with you, CP24? You've been doing media for so long. How the hell can you not get the audio on the press conference on the YouTube posting? Because I want to see the whole damn thing. I want to hear all the questions that all the reporters like Michael Grange asked in that press conference last night. Monica Rogers came out and she was looking great, looking fantastic in that purple. She got her original Roots Tempo jacket, which is kind of an unofficial, kind of like, yeah, you're part of the big time, with Teresa getting the first one. Now Monica Rogers has her Toronto Tempo Roots jacket, and it's kind of a signifier swag kind of piece that just shows, yeah, this is the thing. This is you. Here's your jacket. So, yeah, I love it. I love hearing what she has to say. Of course, she was assistant general manager of the Phoenix Mercury before this, so she does have some very good experience in the WNBA with GMing. And, of course, she's also cited that watching the Golden State Valkyries and their process as an expansion WNBA team this year is going to be very helpful to her and to understand what is to come and down the road as the new GM of the Toronto Tempo. I'm very, very excited for this. I think that y'all had a fantastic press conference yesterday, but I wish I could have seen it. And in some ways, Teresa, if you do listen to me and you could hear this, rectify this, because there are Tempo fans that want to hear the unfiltered conference with the audio. And shame on you, CP24, if you did this shit on purpose, because you guys are assholes and your toxic masculinity thinks that women's sports don't have a place. Because that's what I'll read into it. Seriously, I can be a conspiracy theorist. And if mainstream media in Toronto, who is that? Bell owns CP24. Why the fuck are you doing this to the Tempo, Bell, that you don't want to put audio on their press conference? But yeah, fantastic event. It's a historic day. And I'm so happy to see some of the positions for the brand new franchise, the Tempo, starting to get filled. Because the more and more of these positions get filled, coach coming up soon, get some players at the end of the year, yeah, it becomes more real. They're going to be taking the court in the awesome, awesome new jerseys of the Toronto Tempo. I can't wait for this. It's so awesome. It's so, so awesome. Monique wants to know how we feel about tonight. I like tonight. I think we can beat Miami. You bring those vibes, immaculate, down to the arena, Monique, like you always do. I know that you'll do it. And, of course, it doesn't hurt that Adriana and Wendy are going to the game, because Adriana, when she goes to the game, they usually win. She's like that with good luck. So, yeah, we got a couple of very, very lucky, good luck Raptor freaks going to the game tonight that are going to help the Raptors with the energy, along with, Caribbean night. We actually win most of the time on it. It's when sometimes the vibes are just so awesome. It feels so good in there that the Raptors just going to win on that night. So we'll have to see if it happens tonight. and we even up the season series with the Miami Heat at 2-2 in their last game against them for the season. So we'll have to see what happens tonight. Most saying congratulations, Jacoby, on being named a Toronto ambassador of MLSE Launchpad. Happy for the kid. It's a big responsibility. And the reason why he's such a perfect person for this is because in some ways he's still a kid himself. But also, you could totally see that Jacoby would have been the kind of kid that would have benefited from a program from this. And, all the glory to God in Jacoby Walter's life. As far as what he does and what he's doing, it's like it's all in his name. And giving back is really important to him. He may not seem totally serious in some ways, but he's serious in the right ways. He's serious about his game and playing fundamentally right. And he's serious about giving back to the community in a great way. And this is one way he's doing it. It's so forefront and so awesome. You go, Jacoby Walter. Great stuff. I love this so much. I really, really do. Most saying screening today at prehistoric to historic. Excited for those going. Happy Caribbean night at the game tonight. I'm happy. Yeah, they're having a pre-screening for the prehistoric to historic movie that Alex Wong helped come together. Of course, they used the basis of his book as the jumping off point for this documentary that's coming out. And this is totally different than the Raptors Delight, the Open Gym. There's so much different documentary kind of stuff coming out on the Raptors right now because of the 30th anniversary. This is a full-length movie, and this is one that will be in the theaters alongside another movie called Inbound, which is a movie that focuses on the growth of Canada, basketball in Canada. So both these movies are going to be in the theaters as a double bill, and you can watch them both in some of the local theaters, selected theaters around. I'm hoping Canada. It would make sense if they put this in theaters across the country, and that'd be fantastic. But yeah, are you going to the screening, Mo? You going to tell us what it's like? Maybe give us a review if you do go and see that movie today. That'd be awesome. Smooth said Sixers got blown out last night, and Victor blood clot in his shoulder. I know. Yeah, Nick Nurse continues to lose. Last night was the Celtics. That's expected. The Celtics are a better team than the Sixers. And, well, they should kick their ass. If I was the Celtics nation and I saw them lose the Sixers at this point in the season, I'd be like, yeah, we're in trouble. Something's wrong with us. But no, they took care of business, and they did what they're supposed to. They beat the Sixers. Yeah, because they should have. Yeah. Smooth's bringing up the big sports news from last night. Of course, they had the final of the Four Nation Cup last night in a very, very crazy environment in Boston. And this whole thing, USA versus Canada, in some ways, it is way more healthier to work any kind of issues out with the countries on the hockey rink. And, well, we prevailed. Thank God. Man, in some ways, the USA had beaten us the other day on Saturday in the earlier round. And, well, we both had one loss because Sweden ended up taking care of the USA in between. And, well, we went to the championship game against them in this mini tournament of 4 teams. And, well, Canada got it done. But, man, what an epic game. I did not watch it, but I do understand how crazy it was because I was kind of watching the box score and it being tied pretty much the whole entire game. And then it go into overtime. Man, it was crazy. 3-2, the final score. It was 2-2 going in overtime. And Connor McDavid, wow, you are a Canadian hero for the rest of your life. You already were on the down low, one of the greatest Canadian hockey players ever to play in the NHL, but this kind of stuff will make you a legend. I'm telling you, this is the kind of stuff that's like the Olympic Games, like against the Russians around 1980. That was USA versus Russia. That's a big deal. There's been all kinds of huge hockey games in some ways because of politics, and this was definitely the case last night. So, yeah, I'm very, very proud that Canada won. Thank God. In some ways, I did not want to see Canada lose in this game because, honestly, hockey is Canada's sport. And as much as America wants to be the best in the NBA and basketball and baseball and football, well, hockey should still be – Canada should be the best at that as far as in the world. And that was proven again last night by Connor McDavid, overtime goal, and helping Team Canada win the Four Nations Cup. Fantastic stuff. I love that so much, so much. You're saying NBA take notes? Well, I'm going to say this right now. They're totally different sports ecosystems. In some ways, the hockey has a history of this kind of stuff in a different way. Part of the problem is the dominance of the USA team in basketball just doesn't allow for this kind of competition because hockey is a lot more even. It's a lot more even around the world. You could say Russia, Sweden, USA, Canada. There's a lot of good Austrian players. There's players from all around the world, and some of the nations in hockey are more equalized and more even. There's no real juggernaut. I mean, Canada can be at times the juggernaut of hockey, but in some ways, the where the USA's been above everybody else in the NBA, it's just not totally conducive. So hockey is just a better international sport in some ways. It just is because the playing field's a lot more even. And as Canada gets better, maybe we'll be able to rival the U.S. basketball team more and more in regular competitions like FIBA and the Olympics and stuff like that. I don't know how NBA can take notes on this. I really don't. I really, really don't how they know that how they can take notes on this, because I don't think they could do this in this kind of way to get any of this kind of feel. And that's not a diss on basketball. You know, I love basketball first. It's just that this is, and some of this is just timing too. This would not have been such a spotlight if it wasn't for Donald Trump and his bullshit. These games would not be getting any kind of a spotlight in some ways like it did, partly because of the whole political issues that are going on right now. So I don't know. I don't know what the NBA can learn from this. I seriously don't. I really don't know what they could learn from this, because in some ways it's apples to oranges and it doesn't make any sense. Now, if they do Team USA versus Team World at the All-Star break next year, well, I don't even know if that's exactly what we're talking about here. That's not what we're talking about here. Trevor's got another Black history moment. The New York Rens were the first all-Black owned, all-Black fully professional basketball team in history, formed in Harlem, October 1923. So you're saying the New York Rens were the first owned team by Black people. Black people played on it, and they also owned the team. And they were the first team that was ever owned. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. That's a part of history before the NBA. And it's something that I'm not totally well versed on. Of course, back in the day, there's teams like the Providence Steamrollers. And, there's a lot of different kind of weird teams. The Celtics were around back then, too. The original Celtics before the NBA. Yeah, this is interesting. New York Rens. Know your Black History Month. First ever owned NBA, or not NBA, first ever owned professional basketball team by Black people. They owned the team. It was fantastic. Most saying that, hang on, jumped ahead. Touching introduction from Teresa Resch yesterday. Yeah, she's very emotional during the press conference, a little shaky, but she did a good job. And I wish I could hear the whole thing. That's the only thing I would say on this. Why even post it on YouTube to do this? Seriously, what's the statement? Take that shit down and fix it, is what I'm saying, CP24. Take that shit down and fix it. And Teresa, your people that are in media, they need to find out what the fuck happened and make sure that this shit never happens again. And excuse my language. I'm sorry. I just talk like this. That's it. Yeah. Stargate's here. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. Let's get a win tonight. That's what I'm saying. Let's get all dubs, baby. I'm going in for dubs. Miami Heat, we're back in action. Well, let's get it cold for them tonight at the Scotiabank Arena, since we are in the Arctic tundra of Ontario with our crazy snow and minus 15 degrees. Yeah, we need to beat them tonight. I'm with you, Stargate. Good to see you, and great to hear you yesterday on the Thursday Think Tank. G saying, I have to say, that was the best hockey game I've ever seen. The passion to win for country was amazing. Let's go Raptors tonight. We back. Yeah, I want to say this. Mitch Marner, you're awesome, man. I love you, Mitch Marner. And Austin Matthews, fuck you. That's what I would say. I would say it right there. Just a little special shout out to the Leafs real quick. Mitch Marner, I love you, bro. You're amazing, man, getting your assists. But Austin Matthews, fuck you. I mean, I didn't watch the game. I other things I was doing. In some ways, I maybe should have watched, but I don't care. In some ways, I'm such tunnel vision on the Raptors. I cannot waste sports watching time if it's not Raptors 905, or Toronto Temple, or Team Canada basketball. Otherwise, I'm just not going to watch it at this point in my life. I don't care if it's the Super Bowl. I don't care if it's the World Series Game 7. All these big events where people will tune in, even if they're not really sports fans, I'm not watching them. And that hockey game was one of them. So I have no visual memory of it. I just seen the score, and I seen, thank God, Canada won right at the end there. So, yeah, I could tell that this is probably one of the greatest hockey games in the world that was going on last night. Very, very interesting stuff. And thank God Canada won. That's right. The passion was there in the fight. And, yeah, it was way overblown in certain ways, partly because of that idiot. And he called the U.S. team ahead of time. He probably said some crazy shit. And, we needed to win this one. Seriously, we really needed to win this one for a couple reasons. And anything, these kind of games help signify that we are separate countries and that we are liking that. That's the status we want. We don't want to have anything to do with joining the United States. And, this is the way it's supposed to be. USA versus Canada in hockey, because this has been a fun rivalry and a great, great series of games for decades and decades and decades when these two nations meet on a hockey rink. So I'm just saying that's the way it's supposed to be. So get over yourself. And kudos to Justin Trudeau, a badass, a great man. Even though a lot of people have been sullied in their brains because they've been paid for to hate him by Elon Musk. Elon Musk paid a lot of money to make people hate Justin Trudeau, just so y'all know. Awesome what he said afterwards. We're going to make USA the 11th province. So good stuff, Justin. In some ways, this equalization is checking this motherfucker down south who doesn't understand that democracy is democracy, and you can't be a totalitarian dictator and just run roughshod across the world and just act like you can do whatever the fuck you want, because you'll find out. You'll find out real quick. Yeah, you'll find out that, no, that's not the way to do things. You'll find out. Kaz is here. Good morning, Lex and Raptor Free Crew. Hit the like button. There you go. I appreciate that, Trucker Kaz, on a Friday. I know you've been busier than recently, but it's good to see you back in the chat today, Kaz. Most saying, yes, Scotty. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So happy when I read that. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that I don't get. The disconnect between Tank Nation and the reality of sports is disconcerting. It's kind of like, y'all are stupid, man. Y'all are stupid. Y'all losers. You want to lose on purpose just to get some youngster who may not even know what the fuck they're doing in the NBA? I'm sorry. Y'all going to say, oh, no, he's so good. I know he's going to be a generational talent. He's going to have an impact. There's nothing guaranteed in jack shit. They said this kind of stuff about Sam Bowie. And you go look up Sam Bowie. You find out. What about Greg Oden? Didn't they say this about Greg Oden? What happened to him? So I'm saying there's no sure bets out of the draft. So why would you screw up your team that is a sure bet because they're with you and they're playing right now and they're healthy and they're learning and they're developing? Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly. Why would you mess with that for the promise or the idea of some young kid who's not even in the NBA yet and you don't even know? Anything can happen. So I'm just going to say, nah. We winning, and Scotty said so. And Scotty says goes, is what I'm saying, Raptors fans. So you need to listen to Scott. And Scott has said, we're trying to win. And I ain't listening to this ping pong crap. So just shut the fuck up, Tank Nation. Scotty Barnes has called you out now. Yeah, Scotty Barnes called you out personally. And fans that love Scotty, you going to go against what Scotty wants? Scotty lovers? Listen to Scott. He wants to win. He doesn't want to tank. And y'all need to listen to him and understand that's what he wants to do. That's right. The schedule is easier now. It's time to get those good vibes and win games and not worry about collecting L's. Seriously, guys. We're going to get L's. We're going to get L's. But honestly, we'll see. Tonight, with no Jakob, well, we've only won one game without Jakob this year. So in some ways, the odds of us winning tonight aren't the best, although we do have the full barbecue tonight. And that is a very strong threesome to be playing tonight. That's right. That's right. Carlo's here. Good morning, Lex and Philip Freaks. Good morning to you, Carlo. Good morning, Santino. I hope you're having a fantastic morning, my friend. And thank you for voting, sir. That's what I say. Everybody get out there and vote. The provincial election in Ontario is going on. Monique, everybody get out there and vote. Because seriously, and not only that, on your day today, go and talk to people when you walk around and just say, don't forget to vote. Don't get to vote. Tell people that you love, that you talk to anyway, because you're family or friends. Talk to strangers on the street. Don't forget to go vote. Encourage people. Get the word out and do your part. If all of us watching the stream today in Ontario that can go and talk to people and tell them to vote, we will get more people out there to vote. Because in some ways, the strategy of the politicians, some of them, is to hide the election. Don't get people motivated to act like it's nothing or it's a waste. They want you to be apathetic because your power is more powerful than you know. And when we all do it, we can really decide things as a people. But they don't want us to wake up and do it. So why would you play into their hands and say, I'm not voting? It doesn't do anything. No, it does. And that's why they don't want you to vote so bad. That should be your red flag right there. Why the hell do they not want me to vote? Maybe because it gives you power. So go vote. I'm telling you guys, don't mess around. Early voting is open in Ontario. And go to your precinct today if you have a chance. Go tomorrow on a day off on Saturday and go and vote. Just vote. And like I said, encourage other people around you. Go ask 5 people to go vote every single day for the next week. And let's get more of Ontario voting this time. Because last time we had a provincial election, the percentage of turnout was disgustingly bad. We had like maybe 20% of the province voted in the election. and a huge proponent of them were rich old white people out in the country who just voted for Doug Ford. So we need the balance. We need the people that are working hard, and they need to leave work and go get the chance to vote. And everybody downtown needs to go and vote. If you live in downtown Toronto, you need to vote the most because you're underrepresented, and you need to exercise that vote and get some more help for the city, because the city needs funding. There's a lot of people down there, but, you know, people don't want people in the city to have funding or good things, because in some ways they're like the city people are like the body that we parasite off of. But seriously, the people downtown are doing a lot of work, and they're working in very expensive places where they have to pay a lot of money, and it's not totally fair. And then their votes don't count as much as the people out here because of the districting and stuff like that. So make sure you vote. Seriously, vote for leaders, and don't vote for PC, because anything right-wing in this world is evil and wrong because of Trump and Putin, and that's where they go. You want to know who not to vote for? Go see who Elon likes. You just find out who Elon Musk likes and vote the opposite. And Pierre Poilievre, Doug Ford are guys that he would probably want to work with in the future. So, yeah, let's make our statements and get out there to the polls, Ontario. And don't mess around. Let's go do it today. Today. Get it done and over with so you feel good and you did your part as a citizen of Ontario, a citizen of Canada, and a proud citizen. If you're patriotic for your country right now in this situation in the United States, well, this is part of being a patriot. It's voting in the election and making a decision to help shape the government, because your vote matters. No matter what they say, no matter what people tell you, your vote matters. And go do it. Go do it. It all matters. It's all in there. We all add up. Fiercely saying, good morning, fam, and happy game day. Let's bring the heat tonight and get the dub. They're bringing the heat on a plane up here. But yeah, I don't know if we bring the heat. Let's bring the cool and cool them down. Let's snuff their flame. Let's put it out with the cold, harsh reality of Ontario weather. And yeah, let's kick their ass. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. If we bring the heat against the heat. I don't know, Glenn Fry. The heat is on. No, let's say the heat is off. The heat is off. Tyler Hero, we don't need another hero. You can miss all of your shots. I don't care what you do. The Raptors win. That's what I want tonight. That's right. MJ saying, I watched a few of Miami's games after the trade. Davion wasn't very productive. He was honestly a better fit with us. He was their starting point guard. So for him to be demoted to back up this quick, wow. No, that wasn't what it was, Fiercey. He only started in those games because of injuries and people were not available. He's the backup point guard since he showed up there. And the games that you just happen to see, well, he got promoted to the starting lineup temporarily as a fill, just like what happened here with Emmanuel Quickly being out. Davion would start. So that's all that is. It's not that he got demoted already. It's just that certain games, some nights, some guys aren't available. And, well, Spoelstra said, well, Davion, you're going to start at point guard tonight. But no, it's the same thing as us. He was never designated the starting point guard. He's the backup point guard, but he starts when he need him to because of injury. And that's been true. The Miami Heat had a bunch of injuries right before the All-Star break. And that's why you saw Mitchell starting. It's nothing like that. It's nothing like that. Davion's stats, I've looked at them, and they're about the same as what he's been doing for us. Now, the interesting thing about Mitchell tonight will be, will we see him get double-digit points against the Raptors because he's trying really hard to score on us because of the trade this season? Because I know he loved being in Toronto. He liked it here. But in some ways, he's not unhappy in Miami either. So it's not like the trade was to Washington, like Chris Middleton's dealing with right now. So Davion Mitchell's in an environment and on a team that he has said publicly, this is a team I've always wanted to play for. So it's not like we did anything wrong to Davion where he would be mad at us. We really enjoyed him being here. We left on good terms. He's good terms with the Raptors Nation and the fans. And in some ways, he's good terms with the players that are on the team. He's good terms with the team. So I don't know if he's going to have a revenge factor in him to get back at the Raptors. Because in some ways, we gave him a great place for him to land in Miami, the place that he always wanted to play his whole entire life, honestly. So I don't know what we're going to see from Mitchell tonight. If you see Mitchell try and get 20 points tonight, well, we'll see a revenge game from him scoring-wise. But otherwise, most of what we'll see Mitchell do tonight is probably just aggravate Emmanuel Quickly. Yeah, it'd be really annoying guarding up on him. So we'll have to see. Stargate saying Heat and Raptors always play very close games. Yeah, let's go look at this real quick on the matchup predictor. It may have changed since last night. I don't know if they adjust it according to injuries and what they find out later. but they were saying last night that we are 52% uh, 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 matchup predictor. Yeah, 52% still. It's 51.8 technically, and 48.2 for the Miami Heat in this matchup. But a lot of that is home court advantage. Honestly, that's we're pretty even. The home court advantage is that slight little bit with that. So very, very interesting. It's a 52-48 split in the matchup predictor on ESPN for the Raptors to win tonight. Fiercely saying Wiggins was very off in the first few games I watched. I honestly felt bad watching him. Hopefully he gets his groove back, but not against us tonight. Yeah. And that's the other thing. Look, they're not only trying to come back from the All-Star break like we are, which all the teams have to go through this when they're starting back up after a week off, 10 days off. They are also instituting these new players with the system who have barely played with them at all. And Andrew Wiggins, you're saying that so far he's looked a little lost as a Miami Heat player? That's totally natural, and I could see that. So we'll have to see. Andrew may get up for the game since another reason, well, he's from Toronto, and sometimes these guys like Dylan Brooks and Canadians like to come here and have big games in front of the hometown crowd. So we'll have to watch Wiggins also tonight, but hopefully he's not on, exactly like Marie just said. Hopefully he's not on. Yeah. It's like DZ's saying, have you looked at Derek Queen for a prospect yet? Yeah, I did look at him a couple weeks ago. I like him. We talked a lot about him a couple days ago in Malak as far as like two of the top kind of 4 or 5s that we like. Those two names, probably the most. So yeah, we've looked at him. We looked at Queen, and I've assessed him as maybe like second after Malak as far as what I like for a big man in the first round. I'm still common guy. In some ways, it's partly because I think I see the trend in the NBA with Victor and Zach and Chet. And, even though Queen, in some ways, we went over it a lot yesterday, he's got some better range coming out from the basket is what we were saying. Even though, to me, I really value the plus 7 foot stuff right now because that's the way the league is going. Victor is a trend coming up. And well, having Malak, who's actually 7'2", and even a big center, that's more attractive to me in some ways, especially since he's so mobile. Also, so I don't know. Queen's my second choice though at that position right now. But I'm a common guy. I really am. I'm a common guy. Cool Cat saying, "Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. TGIF. Hopefully, very on the path to a better weather and great games for the rest of the season." Okay. On Monday, it's supposed to be a thaw day out here, at least. I know we're going to be above 0 for a good chunk of around Sunday to Monday to Tuesday. And I'm a little worried about all this ice on the top of my house and how it's going to melt. And so hopefully things will be smooth, and hopefully we'll get a bunch of this out of here in that time. I don't know how quickly it'll work, though, as far as, it's not going to be super, super warm, but above freezing means melt. So we'll just have to see how much of a melt day we get on Monday. Man, it's going to be crazy. Good morning to you, Cool Cat. Always good to see the coach in the morning on the Raptor Freak stream. That's right. Boss Takes here. Good to see Boss Take charge. Quantum Solutions for Longevity. Very, very cool. Hello to you, sir. Trevor J saying Chris Tucker asked SGA to be in Rush Hour 4. That's kind of cool. I think he could do that. Chris Tucker wants the vibes that Giannis wants, apparently. That was a funny little clip from the All-Star weekend where Giannis is in the locker room with SGA. And he says, I just want your vibes, man. I just want the way you carry yourself. There's something around that. Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's so funny. So I guess maybe Chris Tucker wants those vibes too. I don't know. Chris Tucker hasn't done movies in so long. I know he's not young anymore. He doesn't look like he used to. He was such a vibrant, like a lithe kind of performer with a lot of vibrancy and active kind of fun. And well, he's gotten older. And I don't know, you never see Chris Tucker in a lot of media or anything and stuff. You see him at NBA games. You see him kind of at charity functions or kind of being hang around stuff. But man, it seems like he hadn't done a movie in so long. Does he want SGA to play his role? Like, would they get like younger two people to play the two roles of Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan and have a younger generation of it instead? Because like in some ways, man, you don't bring out Jackie Chan at his age and Chris Tucker where he's at in his life, and that's not going to be a good movie. That's going to be a movie that's going to be like, why are these old guys on the screen? So maybe he needs SGA to be his role on the screen, and they'll get a young guy to play the Jackie Chan role too. And maybe they'll only make cameos. Maybe they'll have a Jackie Chan be like an old master who comes and talks to them for a second and says, yeah, this is what you do in this situation. I'll help you. And they'll be like, Grandpa, help us. Jackie Chan's, oh, come in here, grandson. Let me teach you about Rush Hour 1. I don't know, man. I'm trying to figure this out in my head about Chris Tucker asking him to be in Rush Hour 4. This is weird, man. Stargate saying, yeah, Slug, we looked at Queen already. I like him. The thing about Queen is the nice wingspan and the mobility, and he is really a true. I really look at him as more as a 4, but he can guard center. That's the thing. They're two different looks in certain ways. Like Malak is a traditional center, and Queen is more of a new trending center, where the NBA is getting away with not playing true centers sometimes, and you play like 4s as the center, like a Kelly Olynyk for center in some ways. But that's part of the reason why I value Common over Queen, is because in some ways, the height thing is going to be more and more important. It's just coming that way. It seriously is. And having a 7'2" center like Malak on our team would be very helpful, is what I'm saying. Yeah, James is saying we need to get a center or power forward, no guards. Totally agree with James on this. Totally agree. But if we actually land a top 5, Masai might go with best player available. Yeah. I mean, once again, I just default trust in Masai, and that makes sense. But this is what I will say: Bobby and Masai's top 5 may not look like the ESPN projected top 5. Everybody's gets it shoved down their throat. Cooper, Ace, Dylan, and then whatever afterwards. And they really get a hierarchy in their heads. But you've got to understand, on the moon, Bobby and Masai in the GM office, they may have a completely different hierarchy of who's attractive and more important or to look for the draft. And it may not be in the same order as what everybody else is putting down in mock drafts. In some ways, that's how they do their magic, is they don't go with the flow in the crowd and just have the same thoughts as everybody else. They think for themselves. And they see things that maybe, well, this guy's not getting the right attention in the draft analysis. And in some ways, he should actually be higher. This is weird. Why are they talking about him? Well, let's advantage this, and we'll shut up about it. And we'll keep him on our list at this spot in the hierarchy and hope that, well, we'll see what happens. That's what I'm going to say. Raptors fans cannot go by mainstream media, ESPN rankings, Bleacher Report, whoever the fuck is chiming in on what the draft should look like. Because honestly, you don't know what Bobby Masai's cheat sheet for their draft ranking is. And honestly, theirs is probably better than most of these publications that I just named. Seriously, I'm serious. Like the Bobby and Masai draft ranking is probably, man, it would be gold for any other team to see. They would be like, holy crap, this is who the Raptors are actually looking at? Holy crap, I didn't even think about this guy. Where is he from? Oh my gosh, New Mexico State? No wonder nobody's talking about him. Siakam? What is that name even? What country is that from? I'm telling you, this is how they do this shit every year, whether it's Anunoby, whether it's Siakam, whether it's Van Fleet. So I would want to see Bobby and Masai's cheat sheet and their hierarchy, what they see the top 5 to be in this draft. It may not be what is being portrayed by everybody else. I'm telling you, yeah. Yeah, Kaz is saying that Trevor J is a GOAT. Yeah, let's give Trevor J a dunk today for, just excellence and the things I was thinking about the other day. I was like, man, I need to appreciate Trevor more because he has just been as solid as a rock to help me out here in different ways. And Trevor, you're getting your 11th dunk of the year. 33 is total for Trevor on the dunk charts. Most saying now I'm laughing at Leo after what Scotty said. We trying to win. Fuck tanking. Yeah, I mean, Leo means well. In some ways, out of all the people who are talking about tanking, he's doing it the most ethical way. But in some ways, I don't agree with him promoting it on the broadcast because it does grow more stankies and Tank Nation kind of people. Man, Leo, in some ways, man, you've been so on in so many ways. And I get your reasons for this. But we have to understand the Raptors are a special team in this league that are unlike anybody else. And sure, of course, Washington needs to lean into getting ping pong balls. They probably will naturally anyway. But in some ways, we're at a stage where we might actually be able to run some good wins off. And this may be way more beneficial to the Raptors team in the long run, teaching these guys how to win close games, even if they're rookies and so young. This development stuff is so important. And winning in development is the best way to develop. I'm telling you right now. That's just how I feel about it. Fiercely saying, wishing Victor a safe recovery. Brian Winters said blood clots put you out for 6 months minimum, but you need to find the cause. Still wondering if we could have been patient with Koloko. let's not woulda, coulda, shoulda this. In fact, there's too much of this going on right now. Norman Powell's interview this week, man, it blew me away on Old Man in the Three. He was really mad that we traded him. And honestly, he thought that we should have kept the core together. In fact, he kind of felt like, and this came out, and I had no idea about this. He's kind of on the down low. He's mad at Kyle because of what happened. Because in some ways, Kyle was the old guard, and he should have moved on from the team. And when they traded him for Gary Trent Jr., that signified them going with Kyle at that time, because that's really what it was. There's roster decisions need to be made with money, and there was a choice between Kyle and Norman at a certain point, and they chose Kyle. And in some ways, Norm was mad about that because he really saw a four-man core of Fred, Pascal, OG, and him to carry the Raptors into the next era. And in some ways, he also revealed that he would have taken the money that Gary took and played for us, continued to play for us. In some ways, he is a little annoyed with the Raptors because he felt like they were the next generation coming up underneath Kawhi, Mark, Serge, and Kyle, and they didn't get their just chance to try and get going with it. Of course, the pandemic, Tampa season, this was all factors in it. But Norman really was hurt by us trading him, and he really wanted that chance to go with that core. But of course, that core is all completely gone at this point, Norm, and the Raptors have wiped the slate clean for Scotty. So, man, I understand what you're saying. In hindsight's 2020, and it's nice to hear that you would have come and stayed on the Raptors for the money that Gary was paid, but everything had to happen for a reason, and it did how it did, and we can't go back in time, so we can't do this. We cannot do this. And with Koloko, that was just a series of unfortunate events, and in some ways, roster management at a certain point got difficult, and then bullshit happened. But yeah, I think the whole thing with Koloko is fishy as fuck, and who knows, maybe so over the years, we might find out more details about the whole thing, and it may be coming kind of shocking what we learn about why Koloko was kind of stripped from us, from our team, and that we couldn't do a damn thing about it. So I don't know. We can't do this, Fiercey. Woulda, shoulda. Norman instead of Gary. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Christian Koloko on the team still. It didn't happen. We only do what we do, and we go forward with what we got. In some ways, this is a good way to live your life. If you are looking about alternate paths that you could have gone down in your life in the back, stop doing it. Because maybe there is an alternate universe where you did make a different decision, like a relationship or moving somewhere or taking a job, and something totally different happens, but you will never, ever know. And what is the stress of you stressing yourself out over, oh, well, what if I had done this? And then you have regrets? No. Trust your path and understand your path as a person, as an individual, is meant to be partly because the guy up above, the creator above, Mother Nature, the beautiful essence of creator, is allowed your path to be your path, and don't question it. You are where you're supposed to be, and we can't do this for the Raptors and their roster either. We just need to be like, this is what was supposed to happen, and it happened. Not all of it ideal, but most of it great, and we are at the place where we are right now. So I don't second guess this kind of stuff, whether it's Koloko or Norman, and the way he talked on the Old Man in the Three this week is very eye-opening. Norman's very proud of his time on the Raptors. In some ways, he had little short clips of him saying comments that kind of pissed me off, like the way he talked about the championship with us and how lucky we were to beat the Warriors, and did kind of double down on this as far as the injuries. He said it was the perfect storm for us to win, but I still don't agree with you, Norm, even though you're in the middle of it. I think we would have beaten the Warriors full strength, even with Kevin and Clay. Seriously, Kawhi and y'all would have stepped up and made it happen. That series probably would have gone to 7 games, but I believed in y'all, especially with home court advantage at Scotiabank Arena. If y'all had to come back to Toronto into Game 7 with the tied series in the finals, well, why wouldn't Kawhi go into Kawhi mode and the Raptors still beat the Warriors? And a lot of people won't agree with me, and they'll be like, no way y'all beat with them with Kevin. Didn't you see what Kevin was doing? Well, I'm serious. I do believe this, and we can't dispute this because nobody will ever know. We won either way. And I believe we would have won either way. And people can try and discount us and say, oh, no, you wouldn't have won if Clay was healthy and Kevin was healthy. Well, you don't fucking know that. We were that good. We were that good. And a lot more people are understanding just how good the Raptors championship team was because they see how these guys get paid since. So I'm just saying, yeah. Yeah, let's see. Carlos saying, when I saw Wemby playing in all-star game, I was thinking only injuries can stop this guy. And then I'm finding out he has blood clots. I was dreaming of a Raptors Spurs championship matchup in 2027. That'd be a lot of fun. I like that. It's a weird thing. I thought that this is ironic that Wemby was the most energetic in the All-Star game out of everybody on all teams. That he was the most working hard and going and doing stuff. He came off the bench in the last game and got 11 points to lead the global team against Shaq's OGs. And he was the one who had the most energy on that international team. So it's really weird to find out. And Spurs fans have been saying on their group that they noticed with Wemby in recent weeks that he seems like he gets tired too early. And they think it's like an anemia kind of thing with his blood clots. And it's causing him to have low energy periods where he just crashes in the middle of the game and he cannot have energy all of a sudden. So in some ways, this is something that is great that it got detected now before it got worse and worse. And hopefully it can be corralled and fixed before it became more of an issue. Because honestly, this is not something the NBA wants. Is if Victor Wembanyama has a blood clot issue that will not allow him to play in the NBA ever again, that's not good for that. And they're going to do anything they can to get that man healthy so that he can be out there and be a marquee man in this league. Seriously, it's crazy, man. Let's see. James is saying, can we scout Rasheer Fleming? Maybe the next OG, great defender and can shoot the three ball. We did scout him also. See, it's a weird thing. We've been scouting everybody already. Fleming was on that list too with Malak and Queen. And yeah, he looked pretty good with his long arms and his defensive ability. And he can play pretty big. So he's attractive to me because he's like, even though he's kind of a forward kind of stuff, he's a big player. And those kind of players are welcome to me right now. We want long arm monsters. We want rebounders. We want good defenders. We want centers, power forwards, and even a wing that has the kind of like body of Fleming. Yeah, we've scouted almost everybody at this point. We may have to do another round of it. This is why I didn't want to do them so fast and furious right off of January, because now we're barely to March, and I've scouted pretty much the whole first round already. And the scout of the day has kind of been shot because I've seen everybody already now. It's crazy. So we'll see. When we get close to the draft, I'll do more scouts then. But I've looked at Fleming also. We did do Fleming one of our streams. But I like him. And the OG comparison is very apt from what I saw, from what I remember. It's very, very apt, James. Fiercely saying, savage move from the Philly crowd at the end of the game, hearing them chant, "Let's go Celtics," was pure gold. Well, I would say this. How do you know if that was the Philly crowd or was it some Celtics fans that were actually in the arena at the game and doing that there? I don't know. It could be either way. If it's Philly fans trying to troll their own team, well, they could be doing that too. Stargate saying it's not a misogynistic anti-women doing any of this. As a matter of fact, you may be surprised at how many women are all anti-basketball in this country. This reeks of MHGA crew influence. Yeah, I don't know. We can slice it different ways, Stargate. I know about what you're saying, and I totally agree with you that there are anti-basketball forces in this country, and you may very well be right. It's more that, but in some ways, this does kind of smack of also. Yeah, people are intimidated by women's sports, and in this world of like very anti-woke, crazy people that are coming after DEI kind of initiatives and stuff like that. Things like the Toronto Tempo and WNBA are so important to show that diversity and inclusion is still happening, even in a very messed up agenda with the presidency down south right now. So I don't know who it is for sure. I can only speculate, but you could say it's anti-basketball first, but I think it's anti-women first. And you may not think that yourself, but we don't know for sure. Maybe it's just ineptitude. Maybe there wasn't any on purpose kind of anything. It's just ineptitude of the people that were handling the media. A lot of the new people that they're hiring for Toronto Tempo are not MLSC people. They're going to be new people sourced from somewhere else because it's a totally different company, Kilmer Group. And in some ways, they may need to get new people that are rookies and they don't know what they're doing right off the bat and they're learning on the job. And that it could be actually internally that there was a problem, that somebody works in the marketing or media section of the Toronto Tempo screwed up. And that's why there's no audio for the press conference yesterday. It could be a lot of different people. It could be the entities you're saying is hockey people trying to hold down basketball's growth in the country. It could also be people that hate women and don't believe in women in sports. So we don't know. It could just be an idiot that didn't know what they're doing. Most saying, I'm going to the game tonight. Can't attend both, but talk to people going and they win. Hold on to a poster for me in reference to the prehistoric historic. Oh, you're not going to the movie because the movie's on at the same time as the Raptors game. Ah, interesting. So the screening is later tonight during the Raptors game, so you can't go to both, but you're going to get a poster. Cool, Mo. I hope to see a picture of the poster. I'm sure you'll post it somewhere on your social media, and I'd love to see it. And hopefully, maybe you'll let me share it on here too. Stargate saying, as a matter of fact, I believe the Make Hockey Great Again crew is directly involved in the Vladdy Jr. Blue Jays debacle. I'm not even a baseball fan. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, hockey's doing pretty good right now. And I do see some comments in different places where people come into Raptors spaces and they say hockey's the only sport that matters right now. Who cares about the Raptors? I'm like, well, there's Raptors fans that care about the Raptors, like us on the Raptor Freak channel. And you go ahead. Hockey, the Leafs, I don't know what they're doing exactly in the NHL. I don't follow them. I don't know where they are in the playoff race, if they're actually going to be any kind of chance of making noise this year. Hopefully they are. I'm not a hater. I'd like to see them do well. And in some ways, that's what the hockey establishment would love so much is the Leafs would get better. But that's once again, you put so much energy and doting on this, like the Lakers, and there's too much toxic people in the fan nation and in the front office and trying to control the team. You don't get anywhere as a team. And that's a very similar case. The Knicks were like this for years in New York. They're getting their act together now. The Lakers are just like this still today. Toxic fan nation, overimportance on that team being good and wanting to win to the point where they get in their own way of winning. And the Leafs are like that. So we'll have to see. This game last night obviously put hockey on the map in the forefront in the sports world right now because of this Four Nations tournament. I wouldn't put it past you on this either. I mean, the thing about it is now the ownership is all consolidated in one person, which is absolutely disgusting in some ways. Monopolies suck. And having Ed Rogers III as the primary owner of the Blue Jays, the Maple Leafs, and the Raptors is a little disconcerting. And it is where, he could pull purse strings in different ways for the different organizations to manipulate what you're talking about as far as the Make Hockey Great Again contingency. But this doesn't totally make sense if you think about it, Stargate, because Rogers' name is on Rogers Arena, and Rogers has been covering the Blue Jays. And in some ways, that's the creme de la creme, his longtime thing that he's had for a while. And I don't know if it's a business decision because hockey will make him more money and he hurts them, but it's never good to hurt his products. It never is because he wants to make money on all of them, right? So he wants people to come to the Skydome to fill the seats. I didn't call it Rogers Center. He wants the Blue Jays to be good too. And this is not a step in the right direction. So I don't know if this totally makes sense. It doesn't totally make sense because Rogers owns the Blue Jays for how long? And how long has he owned MLSE? So I don't know. This may be going a little too far as messing with the Blue Jays to help hockey. I don't know if that's true. Carlos said I puked at those PP commercials in the hockey game last night. This morning I saw a video where everyone was booing his ads in a bar somewhere in Vancouver. It made my day. Yeah, it's disgusting. I hate in some ways. Some people were saying the fact that Ontario bought ads on the Super Bowl. I hate that so much. I think that's wasted taxpayer money. I think that Doug Ford's been wasting a ton of money on ads right now, and a lot of them are attack ads, and they're just useless. Every time I hear an ad for Doug Ford or see any kind of prime spot paid for by that party, I'm thinking you guys are wasting our money. And in some ways, I don't like this kind of politics. Attack politics where you just attack your opponents and you pay a whole bunch of money to inundate YouTube ads, ads on TV and commercials with things like that. It's like, why are you wasting so much damn money on this? This is not fiscally conservative. And in some ways it goes totally against what, you guys make. I don't know how much money the PC party is spending on the election, but it's probably disgustingly gross. And it could be way better spent in other areas. In fact, I don't like the trend the U.S. has gone in with over inundating with a spending race to win politics. We should change and reform our system up here before it's too late to get the money out of politics. And in some ways, they need to change how they advertise for elections and not allow for one candidate to just overabundance in the airwaves their bullshit messages of negative attack ads and their bullshit rhetoric. I don't care. I don't want anybody to have ads. You can have your little sign out in the yard. We can have a debate, but there shouldn't be fucking political ads on every commercial break like this, because I'm thinking about the money that's spent by the PC party wasting it on bullshit like that. How much money is being spent by Doug Ford right now to put out ads that are attacking the liberals and the other parties? It's a waste. And in some ways, that I'm judging you on more than your message and your bullshit that you're trying to say about your opponents. So, yeah, I'm sick of this shit too. And yeah, I puke when I see this shit too. And I'm like, you know what, Doug Ford, you're saying that Ontario isn't for sale. Bullshit. You sold Ontario already. You sold the Ontario place to a Therme Spa. You're trying to sell the Science Center. You're trying to sell the Greenbelt. Motherfucker, you cannot run on an ad campaign that says Ontario is not for sale, Canada is not for sale, when you have proven in your provincial career being in charge of the Premier of Ontario that you will sell parts of our public lands to other countries already. So don't give me this shit. We can see, you can say one thing, but the action is in your acts of what you've already been doing. And Therme is a big, big sticking point that said, yeah, you will sell out to foreign investors with Canada. So why the fuck would we trust you in this situation with the United States? You saying that you're going to stand up for a country, you're a strong leader? Bullshit. They will take you in a back room. They'll show you a big pile of money, and you will sell us out that quick and not have anything to do to stand up for Canada and its ideals and staying Canadian. So I'll say that right now. Don't fall for this. Doug Ford is going to protect this bullshit. He will sell us out in the back room, just like he did with Therme and Ontario Place, like that. And in the debate, we learned the other night that the other three candidates will rescind and to get rid of the Ontario Place project as soon as they get into office. So if that's not enough, I'm an election. I'll vote on a pure one topic thing. Ontario Place, I'll vote on. And I stand with those other three against what Doug Ford's trying to do with lining his pockets and building a fucking underground parking lot in the lake and costing Ontarians billions of dollars and just giving it to a fucking company in Europe. Yeah. I'll stand on that one single issue and vote against you. Ontario Place, Doug Ford, you piece of shit. And you trying to tell us you wouldn't say Canada's not for sale? Motherfucker, the PC government sold a highway to the Chinese, and they make money off of us on that 427 every fucking day. And y'all's action is to sell out to foreign investors. And Elon Musk endorses Pierre Poilievre. Well, that's a signifier who you should not vote if Musk is supporting Pierre and funneling more of his money towards him to make him be on the airwaves more. So there you go. Carlos got me all political all of a sudden. But everything I'm saying is true. Seriously, the progressive conservatives will sell our country to the United States. We cannot afford to have PC government around Canada right now. We need to stand strong in our left-leaning ideals as Canadians, because that other countries leaning right now. They need a balance. We go with them, well, we fall into totalitarian dictatorship, and we might as well be Nazi Germany in the 30s, last 100 years ago. So I'm just saying, y'all need, this is a serious election, provincially and federally next year. Very, very important. Yeah, Stargate saying, I'm so happy to see these basketball-oriented movies, shows, and documentaries on the Raptors coming out. Too bad the media is putting them on blast. If it was hockey-oriented, it would be the front page. You don't think they're putting on blast. Well, every to each its own. There's different media channels for different people to get the right kind of content. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you on your tangents on this. I'm very much on your side. But there is a certain point where we need to kind of let go of this argument and just kind of go with the flow. And, well, basketball is popular, more and more popular every day. And that's what matters. In some ways, that is what matters. Whether they hide it or they don't allow us to be on the main page or whatever, it's still happening anyway. I'm not looking forward to the Raptors' delight, although the subject matter is better because it's a Kyle and Lowry and DeMar DeRozan episode. The Sportsnet, your Raptors' delight series, I really hate it. I honestly really do hate it. Open Gym will always be king in documentaries for the Raptors. And your little series, whatever you're trying to do, right, in the history of the Raptors in 30 years, it's kind of full of shit. You can redeem yourself with the last couple of episodes. Obviously, the championship one's going to be fantastic. And this one hopefully will be very, very good. This coming out in a couple days. The Raptors' Delight will come out on Sunday, apparently, the third episode. The second episode was absolute crap, and so was the first one, honestly. In some ways informative, whatever, tacky as fuck. And honestly, I hate Sportsnet more because of the Raptors' Delight. I really, really do. Trevor's saying Kobe Bryant will be honored with a statue at the National Garden of American Heroes. Well, rightfully so. I like that. Stargate saying, fuck out of here with NBA take notes bullshit. NBA don't need to take any advice from nothing from hockey. Fuck out of here. I understand with Stargate. I just think that they're apples and oranges. You know, the excitement that is generated from what happened last night is very much a singular event in some ways, that it's just at an apex because of recent current political tensions. And that's a lot of it right there that makes that magic happen last night. Trevor J saying Chris Paul has passed Jason Kidd for the second most steals in the NBA history with 2,685. That's fantastic. That's really up there. Jason Kidd was a steals machine, and it just shows the longevity and the great production of Chris Paul over his career. I love Chris Paul. Some people hate him, but I think he's an amazing player. I've always been a big fan of his, and I'm really happy to hear about his accomplishment. Fiercely saying, I can't say let's go cold on the Heat. No jinxing. I know what you're saying, MJ. I know what you're saying. I know. I think it's weird to use their own term against them. Let's get the Heat turned on the Heat. As long as it's warm in that arena, I'm sure it will be. Jack and Matt will say it at some point. In the safe confines of the warm Scotiabank Arena. It may be cold outside, but it's warm in here for basketball. Matt Devlin might say that tonight at the beginning of the game. How about, you guys want to play Raptors bingo? Is it likely that Matt Devlin will make light of the temperature difference between outside the arena and inside? It's nice and warm in here where basketball will be played at Scotiabank Arena. Yeah, I want to see that. Reggie's here. He's saying, I read some pretty messed up stuff about Shaq. If it's true, he's really weird and sick. I don't know. I don't know what you're saying exactly. You're talking about Diddy stuff? I don't know. I didn't see the rumors or anything like that. I will say this about Shaq. Shaq is a philanderer, and he has done some crazy stuff in his life sexually, as far as behind his wife's back. And there's a lot of things that he did in his life that he regrets because he lost his family because of his cheating and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. I don't know what it is. I don't know, Reggie. So I can't say if it's Diddy stuff. Oh, look out. Most saying W stream, W vibes. Go Raptors for life. Keep at it always. Lex. Raptor free cream, strong forever. Just help limit my comments. Thank you, Mo. I appreciate you, the producer. Monique Lawrence. Go to the game tonight. Bring the vibes. Let's get the W. Bring it home, Mo. I know you will. Let's bring it home tonight. I'm all about it. Smooth is taking his messages back. Fiercely saying, Giannis telling SGA he wants his aura was funny. If SGA accepts Chris Tucker's offer, it would be a great start to him representing himself without help from an agent. You know, this is not a bad thing for SGA to strongly consider because it'll put him more in the forefront and it'll make him more of a face of the league. Honestly, you start doing movies. Well, Shaq did movies. He became more of a face of the league. That kind of stuff, it can help. And especially if it's like, all right, he's Canadian, but we don't want to make him the face of the league because he's not American, Stephen A. Smith, that bullshit. Well, if he's on movies in the United States, you know, he could become a huge movie star like half Canadian Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Yeah, people don't realize that. The Rock is half Canadian. Don't even talk about that or anything. So I don't know. SGA is going to be a face of this league no matter what because he's that kind of talent. He's got that aura, like Giannis has said, and he's just a smooth dude. I'm very, very curious to see how he represents himself, and we'll have to see if he does do this movie. I think he'd do a great job. I think he could act. Watch. In some ways, he's just got that kind of mystery to him and his aura. And in some ways, I think he could do it. I don't even know if he's trained as an actor. But for some reason, he's intelligent enough and he's driven enough as a person. I could see SGA being a very successful, not totally great actor. I mean, it'd be probably on the level of what Bo Cruz and them did in that one movie with Adam Sandler, with Juancho and Anthony Edwards. They'd be acting like that. He'd be acting like that. Maybe Uncut Gems, Kevin Garnett kind of stuff. It's a player. We know he's a player, but in some ways he'll be good enough to get into the world, the imaginary world of movie and actually act in it. That'd be cool. Milbester's here, guys. Knicks freak in the house. What's up, Milbester? What's going on, my guy? Hey, Lex, how's Friday? How's Raptors schedule and All-Star weekend? World Baseball Classic. Okay, we're not talking WBC. It's been crazy so far. You were up at 6 a.m. watching Spain torch Taiwan. Wow. Okay, he's watching the baseball. We're watching the hockey. Tonight we'll be watching the basketball again. That's right. Milbester, good to see you, my guy. Stargate saying that smooth. LeBron and Dwayne Wade. Shaq is a Diddy doo-wop, if you know what I mean. I don't even know what that means. And that I don't know. In some ways, I don't believe the stuff about LeBron. I really don't. I may believe the stuff about Dwayne, though. But I don't think LeBron is like, I don't know. I don't like the Diddy speculation stuff. In some ways, a couple of people have been used as like, okay, if you're connected to this person, you're like a really messed up person. Epstein, Diddy. These are the names. And like everybody's trying to connect different people, and they're like used as weapons against people. And people know Trump was at Epstein's island. They know he did that stuff, but so many people are going to come around and say, well, Clintons were at Epstein's island. It's really like used as a bring down the person's reputation kind of tool at this point. And I think it's irresponsible to speculate on who is doing Diddy things behind the scenes like Diddy did. And I don't appreciate people bringing up LeBron on this, because I think that people are trying to take LeBron with this kind of rhetoric. And I don't think it's fair to him. And honestly, I'm not really a big LeBron fan, but I do not agree with linking him to Diddy. I think it's silly. And we don't know anything about it. That's hearsay. And it'd be really bad for the NBA if it was true. If they covered it up, shame on them. And, hopefully everything will come to light and something like that. But I believe more, like, if you really want to ask me between those three superstars, who's more likely to be Diddy-like, I'm going to say Shaq first, Dwayne second, and LeBron last. I don't think LeBron is like this, guys. I don't think so. Smooth saying, at Stargate, I deleted my post because it's so gross. I didn't want to offend anyone. I'm sorry if I did. I have no idea what you said. I didn't get to it in time. And, well, I mean, I will say this about Shaq. Shaq is a bully. Shaq has been a bully for a long, long time, and he's kind of gotten better about it in some ways, but not really. And down low, he's still a bully. Like, they bully Charles on that show all the time. When I used to listen to Shaq's podcast, he was really, really toxically bullying people. Like his co-host, he would be really mean to them. He'd treat people like they weren't human beings like him. And that really turned me off from Shaq's personality at that point. Like when I listened to the Shaq podcast, I was like, that's Shaq. I want to listen to him. But he really turned me off in his personality, because I realized at a certain point, that man's just a big, huge bully. He's a jerk. And he puts people down, and he's really, really mean to them. And he's such a big guy. He shouldn't be like that at all. He really, really shouldn't. But that is what it is. Let's see. Blackhawks saying, only thing I look forward to seeing on the Heat versus the Raptors game is seeing Davion. This can be fun. I think that there'll be some good smack talk tonight. I think that Davion versus Shed will be a lot of fun, and IQ also. So I'm excited about that. We'll have to see how healthy Tyler Hero is. He's a big factor on whether they'll do well tonight. Also, Bam has missed games here and there. So, but he's not listed right now. So he should be playing tonight. So we'll have to see. Let's keep going. Neil is saying we beat the Warriors in 2019 because we had the healthier team all season. We won both regular season games even without Kawhi. Yeah, we had the Warriors number that whole time. We really, really did. And it was proven. And the record for the season was 6-2 against the Warriors. We won 6 times against them, and they only won twice. So yeah, I'm totally with that. Carlos saying, shit, anemia plus blood clots, probably a bad combination, because he will probably need blood thinners. Yeah, I don't know. And I just know that the NBA is going to be trying to get Wemby right out of anybody coming up in this league. They're going to try and get his health right, because he is a cash cow for them. And they can't be having him having to retire early because of something like this. They really, really can't have it, because they have a lot invested in him in some ways. Neil's saying the first year is the hardest on all rookies. They never played so many games and taken as many flights. The toll on the body is heavy. Yeah, the rookie wall is real. And the crazy thing is, our rookies hit their rookie wall in like November because they hit it real early, because they were being high usage right away. And it's weird. These guys are really resilient, and they're tough, and they're mature. And I think that the solidarity and the brotherhood of the Toronto Raptors right now helps carry them through some of the tiring fatigue and the doldrums of the lifestyle. That it's easier to get up and go to work when you enjoy it, because the people you're around, you enjoy them. And it just makes everything a lot easier. I think that's a big secret in the NBA. If the vibes are wrong, well, it's hard to get out of bed. But if the vibes are great, well, it's a lot easier to get down to practice and get there early even to put some shots up. Yeah. Neil saying, I used to fly to the U.S. weekly from Monday to Thursday, and my nerves was a wreck after 5 of 8 years to doing that. Yeah, especially right now, the way planes are doing weird stuff out of the air, and there's a lot more air traffic crashes right now. We really are getting into a very irresponsible period where regulations and rules are being thrown out the window by people that don't want to play by any rules because they just want to steal money and have no oversight. And there's going to be all kinds of tests in different ways on different things for safety. And the two ones that I would worry about the most for people are the flight safety, the FAA, and then also Food and Drug Administration stuff for the food. There's going to be a lot of food that's going to be released to the public that's absolutely going to be poisoning people, and people may get sick because the people that used to do that job just got fired by Elon. And having no safeguards for society, well, they're going to learn some Darwinistic dumbass shit real fast down there. There's a county in Texas that has an outbreak of measles right now that is the most measles cases in the United States in so long because they did measles vaccinations. But this is a place where they had high death rates to COVID because they were anti-vax. Well, they're starting to bring back measles, and measles can be very dangerous around the United States. So I would say don't go to the U.S. Yeah, thank God that we have Canada and the rules and the regulations that we have up here to protect the public and food safety and different things. In some ways, those things are important for society to run well and protect the public. But they don't want to protect the public down there. They look at people as fodder and cattle. And if some of them die, they don't care. They're cruel and horrible people, the president and the MAGA people right now, because they're going to starve old people by taking away Meals on Wheels, and they're going to starve children, and they're going to put people in the streets because their families lost their jobs. And they're just a misery, suffering kind of a party that wants more misery and suffering because they're actually sadists. They're sadistic people that get off on people having misery. They have an ASMR of people getting deported that sick ass, disgusting right-wing MAGA people listen to get off on, hearing sad noises of people getting arrested or taken away in handcuffs and deported out of the country. And they're getting their sick twists off this. I'm telling you, this is a really sick part of history that's coming up right now. And we need to reject the evil and the people that are not good people. They're not Christ-like people. They are not. They're satanic. They're literally satanic. I can honestly say that the mark of the beast comes at you in the name of, they're going to use religion and say they're the religious ones. But you know what? You can say all you want. Actions speak louder than words, and your actions are not Christ-like, and you are not Christians. You are satanic. I'm going to say that straight up. MAGA is satanic at this point, just like the Nazis were. They're satanic. Anyway, let's keep going. Let's see. Smooth saying, I don't like that Powell continues this Toronto got lucky nonsense. That's why I don't hold them in regard as a positive Raptors alumni. I held this for a while too, but you have to flesh it out. You have to hear the whole story. Man, the dude's very proud of his Toronto roots. And in some ways he was hurt because he really did want to continue things. So he may have said a couple of things that were kind of negative. Now, I mean, in some ways, a lot of people can agree with him. We were lucky that those guys got hurt in some ways. And that's all he's trying to say. I mean, I don't think he says exactly that we wouldn't win the championship without that happening. That's not what he says. It just said that it really did help, is what he kind of said in the interview. I was holding some of this animosity that you're holding towards him too, Smooth, for a while. But I've gotten over it because in some ways, Norman elaborated on it and he fleshed it out a little bit more. I think if you watch the Old Man and the Three thing, you'll find that maybe the people that made the podcast will flesh it out as very negative and saying things the way they're advertising for it. But if you actually go and listen to the interview and actually listen to Norman, he loves Toronto and he understands exactly what being an alumni and a champion for us is going to mean in the end. And I'm not like this anymore, but I was like you a couple of years ago when I first initially heard the initial comments, but it was really just a soundbite and it didn't really flesh out exactly what he's going to say. He acknowledges in the interview that some people got really mad at him for saying this stuff, people like us, but he wanted to elaborate and make sure he was clear about it. And if you hear his full statement, you probably won't be as mad at him as you think, because he really is. He loves the Raptors. He loves the Raptors. He'll always be a Raptors champion. And his best friends are the bench mob still to this day. To this day. Most saying, I don't know how true this is, Lex, but don't quote me on it. But I read somewhere that Wemby blood clot is similar to Chris Bosh. Yeah, I don't know if they're exactly the same, but it's the same kind of thing, a blood clot. And I mean, they're all different. You know, different players have had different blood clots. Like one of the Thompson twins had one this year, and he's back and he's playing fine. So everybody's going to, as an individual, is going to deal with it differently. And I think Bosch's case was really bad, like really, really bad. Maybe because it was undetected for a long, long time. And then it got to a point in his career and where it was that it's just not manageable to him to play safely. So I don't know. Wemby being so young is on his side. I'll say that. If it's going to be something similar to Bosch, because Bosch, when he got the blood clots, he was already in his mid-30s. And that was going to be like, yeah, you're pretty much done, bro, at this point. But Wemby being so young at only like 21 or something like that, that's going to be really in his favor in battling this and hopefully having a very good outcome with it. Yeah. Blackhawk said, when you understand the grind, you don't poo-poo on your journey. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. He even talks about this. He brings up the grind and what he found out about it. I don't know. I can't get mad at Norman because he's an underdog, and in some ways, he's not getting the right deserved attention. And he says this in the interview. He said, like, look, I understand. I'm not getting all-star like I should have this year. And I didn't get sixth man of the year any of these years that I probably could have gotten it in recent years. Partly because I don't do a lot of endorsements. I'm not out there. I'm not promoted as a face. I'm just quietly doing my job and grinding in the league and doing what I do. And I know that if I do that, I'll get the accolades as they come. So I don't know. In some ways, I'm not mad at Norman right now. I'm not. And I was, though. I was similarly to you a couple of years ago. But at this point, I'm not. You have to watch the whole interview. Trust me. Seriously. When you watch that whole interview, you'll see what I'm talking about, guys. Fiercely said, yikes. Oh, no. Sincerely hoping Wemby's clots are not at that level. If they are, they find a science or alternative to heal them. Yeah, we don't want to see Wemby's career shortened because of this issue he has now. No, we don't. That's right. Smooth saying, let him stay in Clipperland. Norman? Yeah, he's doing great there. He's, he talked about being on Portland and kind of, that was a weird place because he was still reeling from leaving Toronto and he didn't like it. He really didn't like leaving Toronto, guys. He was like Siakam and DeRozan on the down low. He was one of those guys that wanted to play for the Raptors his whole entire career. And when they traded him for Gary, it really hurt. In fact, the way he talked about it, he said it was the trade deadline and the phone hadn't rang and it was right at the end. He said, I'm not getting traded. But then he did get the calls all of a sudden. And they did say he traded him. And it just made him real. And when he saw the players, the other players from the team, like his guys on the Medj Mob and Bobby Masai, he broke down and he had a really emotional moment knowing he was leaving the team when he got traded for Gary Trent Jr. It was a very, very emotional time for him. And in some ways, you can't fault a guy who kind of felt discarded in some ways by a team that he was totally honored and loved and wanted to be on that team his whole entire career. He says this in this interview. So I hope maybe that tries to help you guys kind of come around on this stuff. Seriously. You say let him stay in Clipperland. Well, that was the in-between spot was Portland. And he actually said being in Portland for a couple of years absolutely was a good buffer between the Clippers and the Raptors for him to be able to be on the Clippers and be okay with things. And you know, the other thing was when he went to the Blazers, he had to learn totally different system and play with totally different players. And it was encouraging to him because it was a real test. And he found that he could adapt and he could fit in another system and play with another cast of characters. And it gave him confidence, honestly. That's what Norman said. That playing with the Blazers gave him confidence. And he really does enjoy playing for the Clippers. And he's very good friends with James. You know, the other thing that we forget is that he was really good friends with Kawhi way before Kawhi even came to Toronto because Kawhi is a San Diego guy like him. And when Norman was coming up, Kawhi was around him as a kid before he went to UCLA. So he knew Kawhi more than any of the other Raptors when he showed up on our team in 2018. So that's another big part of the whole thing. And there is a real friendship in between Leonard and Powell that's deeper than you guys realize in some ways because he's known Leonard for many, many years, even before they won the championship together. Yeah. Let's keep going. Let's see. Blackhawk saying Norm loved Clippers land because it's close to his aunt. Yeah, it's easier for him to get to San Diego from LA. I mean, I know you guys may be mad at him, but I'm serious. If you guys watch that podcast, you guys can't be mad at Norm. Seriously. Reggie's saying, good for Norm. Fuck him. Reggie, seriously, watch the Old Man in the 3 episode that came out this week, and you'll find that you like, I can't be mad at him. Seriously. He was so important for us. And some of the stories he tells about different times, like you know what he really gets mad about is his rookie year when they played against Cleveland in the Eastern Conference Finals with Bismack on our team, who, by the way, is the new starting center for the Spurs with Wemby out. Bismack Biyombo year with Damari Carroll, Corey Joseph, DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry, Dwayne Casey still our coach. The year that we took Cleveland to Game 6 in the Eastern Conference Finals and then lost, he felt like this is what he said, and this is very interesting. He felt like the NBA manipulated that series for us to lose to the Cavs on purpose, and that he still has some problems with that series. That's the one that really makes him mad. And he said that him and DeLon Wright still talk about that going out against LeBron and LeBronto at that time, because honestly, he felt like we should have beat the Cavs, and the NBA actually manipulated the game so that we would lose. I saw it at that time that they're not going to allow a fair chance for the Raptors to compete with LeBron and the Cavs because they just don't want us to get past them. I mean, there is a bit of LeBronto that does have that factor, and LeBron and Norman let it be known in this interview this week that he really does think the NBA set up the Raptors to fail against LeBron no matter what when he was on Cleveland, and it was through ref manipulation and other little things like that. They didn't call anything for us, and they gave everything to LeBron at that point. So y'all watch this stuff. Seriously, I don't like that you guys are so mad at Norman. You shouldn't be. You really shouldn't. He's a good person. Stargate saying at Lex, I would have elaborate verbally on my perspective and views on this hockey against basketball issue. Much like you, get a bit triggered on the politics issue. I get triggered with this. Man, I respect that. And once again, Stargate, I don't think you're a conspiracy theorist. I think that there's real reality to some of the things you talk about with the make hockey great again crowd. I totally buy into what you're saying. It's just in some ways, I want to try and be fair and make it so that we don't seem like we're so crazy that we're thinking everything is a conspiracy because of hockey trying to hurt basketball. It's kind of like I'm saying, well, let's really think about this. And in some ways, the stuff with Vlad doesn't make sense to me that they would try and mess up the Blue Jays with that. I think that's just the Blue Jays GM being an idiot and not very good at their job, because that's not helpful to Rodgers. And then the stuff with the tempo thing with the press conference, I think that's really more idiocy, like in the people that were running it in the media. The people that didn't turn the sound on or something like that. I don't know. If they fix it and I can actually hear the press conference with Monica Rogers, I would love that. I would love that because I'd still like to come back and hear the whole thing. That'd be great. Stargate saying, my typing to you doesn't really express it in the way I want it to be expressed, if you understand what I mean. Yeah, it was great hearing you on the phone yesterday, very passionately talking about things. And, you know, when we do Thursday Think Tanks, maybe we can revisit this topic and I'll allow you to espouse on the phone like we did yesterday, so we can really get this effect. I completely understand what you're saying, and I want to get that avenue for you to espouse like this. And, well, maybe a Thursday Think Tank this summer. Maybe I'll do a special show on this specific topic, and you could be like the main call during that Thursday Think Tank, and we could really go over it. You know, in the off season, I'm going to have to find subjects to cover, and we'll have more time to do this stuff more justice. How about that? Yeah. So Reggie's saying no one on that 2019 team devalues the chip except for him, man. I don't like that. I don't know if that's totally true. I've kind of heard different people say different things. I don't think he devalues it, though. Honestly, he loves it. He's so happy and proud to be an NBA champion. Nobody can take that away from him. I think that in some ways, it once again is a sound audio clip. It's just one little part of what he says, slipped out from the whole context of what he's saying, and it makes us think, oh, this is a horrible thing to say. You know that media will manipulate things. They'll take one little juicy chunk, and they don't give the whole meaning to what they say, and it's misleading. And I think that that's what the case is with this Norman stuff on him devaluing our chip. No, let's not get it twisted. In some ways, that's the crown jewel of achievement for him in his whole entire professional career. And he proudly has that championship ring. He proudly has the memories of the championship parade and the winning of the title. So I'm just going to say that right there. As far as like, I want y'all to give him a second chance. Seriously, watch the interview on JJ Redick's old podcast this week and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's a little bit, it's weird. He's a real one. Just trust me, guys. He's a real one for Toronto. He really, really is. Blackhawks saying PK Subban can kiss my black ass. Yeah, I thought that I saw a little comment from him or something about commenting on basketball and hockey and something like that. I didn't really pay that much attention. I didn't bring it up on this channel. You just brought it up. It is what it is. He can say what he's going to say. He's a hockey guy, and it is what it is. I think what he said was he thinks basketball players are lazy and hockey players can't afford to be lazy because they always have to be skating and moving around is basically what he said. And that's the difference in why hockey players just can't be like lazy NBA players, because if they don't, they're getting checked into the boards. I mean, in some ways, this statement is kind of true. It's kind of true. And in some ways, even though he's saying that and it bugs us, you know, he's kind of right that maybe the NBA players need to get up off their ass and try harder. Some of them are very good. The Raptors overall are very much trying and busting their ass. But there are a lot of lazy top tier players in the NBA that aren't doing their share of what they should be doing. So I think it's fair what Subban said. And I also think that he might be, you know, it is true. In hockey, you have to be moving or you're just not going to stick around. So I don't know. I can get mad at him for saying that, but in some ways he's right. He's right. He's right. Let's see. Trevor's saying Embiid said he's not dominating because of an ailing left knee. That's not the only reason why you're not dominating. Anyway, Trevor's saying Klay Thompson confirmed that Max Christie is not the son of Doug Christie. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody thought that, right? The Christie brothers are not related to Doug Christie. I don't think anybody was under the misconception of that. I never thought that they were. I never thought that. That's weird. What? That's a news story. Did Klay Thompson do a little DNA test himself? Did he like go get a hair from Max Christie? And Doug Christie like snuck over to the Sacramento bench and say, "Hey, coach, come here for a sec. Can I hug you?" He's like ripping a little piece of hair out of the back of Doug Christie's head. So I'll be back to you in 6 weeks. DNA test. I can confirm that Max Christie is not related to Doug Christie. He's doing his little Dr. Phil. You are not the father. Oh my gosh, this is crazy, man. Trevor's saying Charles Barkley said last night he's glad that Canada won because we do not want to become the 51st state. Yeah. All right. This is a touchy subject, and I don't want to talk about this too much, but I appreciate Charles's support and saying what he said last night. It's fantastic. Once again, good job, Justin Trudeau, and what you came out and said last night also. And yeah, in some ways, people, you know, it's not a joke totally. This is the thing I have to say. A lot of people are acting like this is ha ha ha, it's funny. But we don't need to be normalizing this or say like this is disrespectful. And seriously, people doing this kind of stuff like what Trump's doing to Canada right now is absolutely wrong. And this is fucking dictatorial stuff. This is the kind of shit that Putin would do. And that's what I'm saying. We need to be vigilant. We need to have a strong national identity. We need to really, really protect our sovereignty because this guy's an idiot. He's crazy. And the backing behind billionaires and their ideas of what they want to do, I wouldn't trust them in any kind of way. So any kind of talk about 51st state and stuff like that, we need to solidly reject it across party lines across Canada and stay very nationalistic and strong for our identity of our country. Because in some ways, you know, this dude is, you know, some people say he's not serious. Some people say, oh, he couldn't actually do it. Man, in this world today, with what's happening with Trump in the election and the things that happen in the States, I'm not saying anything is impossible. And that's why I'm staying vigilant to this shit. So we can't poo-poo this and act like this shit is jokes. In some ways, this guy's a very dangerous threat to our sovereignty. And that's why anybody who supports Trump in Canada, you're a fucking traitor. You're a fucking traitor, just like that idiot who called my show yesterday and tried to blindside me. Well, you got what you got when you came in here. You saw me verbally smack down your ass right on out the door and blocked. And that's just how it is. There you go. Randolph saying blessings, game day blessings, beloved Raptor freaks, and most informative gang. We live, we experience, we learn, we grow, and evolve. Change is inevitable. Yeah, change is inevitable, but we ain't changing our status of this country being Canada, and Canada stands on its own. What I'm saying right here. Randolph saying prayers for Wemby and all the injured players and athletes. Prayers to you, Randolph Phillips. Blessings to the Phillips family, all Freak families. Thank you for your words of wisdom on a daily basis. Carlos saying 8 crashes in the air already. Jeez, that's what I'm saying. In some ways, I worry about the Raptors because they're going to be flying around a lot. But I also understand that the Raptors have a private jet. and they're in some ways get special cases and stuff like that, and they may be a little more safe. Also, they're very used to flying around a lot and stuff like that, and they know if something was weird or something crazy. But the problem is, are the air traffic controllers employed and on staff enough? And that's where the safety issues come on. Are there enough technicians that are checking all the planes all the time before they land and take off for any kind of equipment malfunctions and different things like that? You cost cut on that kind of shit. You go cheap. Well, you get cheap results. And sadly, sometimes people die. And that's the irresponsibility of this. Somebody's keeping track of all the bullshit that Trump's done so far and all the chaos and stuff, and they will fucking hopefully nail him for this shit, and he will fucking go to prison at some point in his life for fucking trying to ruin the American democracy. They keep a laundry list of all the fucked up things he's causing right now, whether it's deaths because of taking away the CDC and stuff like people that are in charge of looking out for bird flu and stuff like that. People taking people out of the IRS so that they can't come and audit his rich friends and get the fair share from the tax scammers. They're doing all kinds of crazy ass shit. The fox is in the hen house, and it's ripping up the hen house right now in a really, really messed up way that's very, very dangerous for the United States right now. Safety in all kinds of ways is dangerous. In fact, they're trying to hike up student loans on students right now, increasing their rate of debt and their percentage of interest and stuff like that. It's disgusting. They want to roll back any kind of good, helpful thing for the common man in the United States and just wrench it up on them in awful ways. This is what y'all voted for, lower egg prices? Well, you just voted for a fucking calamity in almost every aspect of your life in the United States right now. Americans. I don't even believe he actually won the election. I think that Elon Musk paid the media off, and they called the election early around 10:30. That's fishy as fuck to me. Whenever is an election done before midnight? Never. They don't count that shit like that. So they strong arm their shit. They grabbed that election by the pussy, just like he says, and they just took it. And I don't think he actually won. I think Kamala had more votes, and they are fucking totally corrupt and criminal, and they're just being aggressive to strong arm things, is what I actually honestly believe. I don't think he actually won the election, guys. I think that they bought and paid for the media, and they consolidated it through that. Elon paid for this shit. And I'm telling you, man, it's fucking the American democracy is messed up because it's been bought and paid for, and now it's a dictatorship for the oligarchs, is what it is at this point. That's what it is. Trevor's saying they're saying how this tournament, Canada and U.S. Impact NBA All-Star game. Yeah, I don't know if it will. Like I said, apples to oranges. This shit doesn't really apply in some ways. I don't think the NBA can get this kind of magic around their team. And it partly is because the generation of LeBron and Kevin Durant did not take things seriously enough. And they've got it in a really bad place where none of the pressure is ratcheted up. It's all deflated, and it's just nobody gives a shit. In some ways, that is an area where hockey is jumping on top of us in some ways, in basketball versus hockey kind of things. Well, I have to admit, this is just the damn truth. And it's the fault of the generation of LeBron and those NBA stars not coveting and taking care of the NBA product properly to keep the competitiveness on the highest level so that it looks like that from the outside. So and them to build this up is going to take decades to get this back up. And they may never even actually recapture it because of this fucking dropping the ball of LeBron and Kevin Durant and Steph Curry's generation in the last 15 years. All right, I'm going to do the Instagram stories. I'm really all over the place today. We've been talking a lot. We're excited the game's going, and we're 2 hours in. We got a lot to do. Broke baby stunner. Eugene Omeroy is flying in on an Air Canada flight into the Bronx, into New York. He's going to see Westchester Knicks tonight, and we see him filming outside the window. We can see the islands of New York underneath him in the plane. So he's in New York to play them. He's putting on blast Canada winning the game last night, 3-2 in the Four Nations face-off. Eugene Omeroy, a proud Canadian, celebrating that win and that victory in hockey. And there he's got a little clip of a guy saying, when you come back to the hood in Toronto, it's a guy pulling up his car, saying hi to his friends, and his friends saying hi to him. That's pretty cool to see that. SGA showing some Canadian pride and showing the Canadian team winning the cup last night and the Maple Leafs on there. We love to see SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the best Canadian basketball player right now, showing support for Canada's hockey team winning last night. That was fantastic. Slim Duck also got Sidney Crosby on blast. So a lot of the Canadian Raptors and Canadian players in the NBA are putting on blast Canada's achievement in the victory last night. And he's saying Sidney Crosby, Captain Canada, baby. There you go. Here's Norman with a T-shirt of a hoodie with him on the shirt. Also cool. Some more Understand the Grind gear by Norman out there. And let's see. What else? Yeah, The Young Man in the Three. Watch it, y'all. Seriously, y'all need to watch it. Seriously, y'all will change some of your opinions on some of this. He actually talks a lot about choosing UCLA over USC. He was going to go to USC in some ways because of DeMar, y'all. You know, Norman also knew DeMar way before they were on the Raptors from California. And DeMar was an influence on Norman. And when Norman came to the Raptors, it just fits so well. It's perfect because he already knew DeMar. And in some ways, he was going to go to USC instead of UCLA, partly because of DeMar. This is way before they were on the Raptors together. So, you know, that's an interesting friendship that he has with both Kawhi and DeMar. Norman's in the middle of them, guys, just so y'all know. Let's see. Eric Smith's proud of Team Canada. He's got SGA in the Team Canada jersey. Kelly Olynyk, very, very happy about Connor McDavid's overtime scoring goal to win the game for Canada. He's got it on blast on his Instagram stories right now. Canadian Kelly Olynyk showing national pride for the game last night. Tempo president Teresa Resch is putting on blast the women's soccer league, their schedule coming up for Toronto's team, and also introducing Monica Wright-Rogers, who was a second pick in the draft in the WNBA back in the day by the Lynx, and she's won 2 championships with the Lynx. And she's got a really good resume, Monica Wright-Rogers. And I'm very, very happy that she's the GM of the team. So we got some nice little clips. Like I said, that set that they were in front of is just so nice with the purple sky and the blue water of Lake Ontario. Fantastic job by the graphics department to get a really slick-looking press conference yesterday. Now, if we could talk to the audio department, we could shore things up a little bit better. But the affair was awesome. It looks like they had a whole night of it with a nice dinner and all kinds of stuff. This is a quote from Monica Rogers. We're not just building this team for a city, but an entire country. This is so much more than a team. It's a movement to grow women's basketball in Canada. I love that message by Monica Rogers, the GM of the Toronto Tempo yesterday. It's a sports city. The passion that they have for basketball, women's basketball, and the appetite for this WNBA team. Why wouldn't I take this opportunity? It's a no-brainer. There you go. I love to see that. There they are at a nice dinner afterwards. Very, very cool. Game day preview on the Raptors official admin. Grady Dick playing against the kids. He played some one-on-one against these kids at MLSE Launchpad, and he blocked this one kid, and then he laid off this other kid, and he nailed a 3 over him, and Grady was like dead. He's like, oh my gosh, this kid just did that. And that kid's going to have that memory for the rest of his life that he shot a shot over Grady Dick and made it, and he'll be able to say that. I was 6. And I was at this event, and he was there. We played one-on-one, and he laid off me, and I bombed a 3 on him. Dude, that kid can brag that for the rest of his life. That's so cool, man. I love that. Let's see what else we got on the Instagram right now. I think that's pretty much it, guys. There is a troubling post by Scotty last night, and he's getting hell for it, honestly. Scotty had his Blues Brothers 2025 look recently with the black sunglasses, the Ray-Bans, and the black tie with the white collar. And I was saying he's like Blues Brothers 2025. Dun, 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 dun. Well, he had a little photo shoot, and he posted on Instagram of him in a Cybertruck. And he's kind of getting it from Raptors fans in the comments, and rightfully so, Scott. We don't want to see you in a swastika car. So, yeah, you being in one of those Tesla cars is not a good look. I mean, you may be like, this is cool. It's the future and stuff like that. But nah, man, this dude is extremely unpopular. And honestly, people that drive in Teslas around Ontario right now are very seriously considering taking their car back and trading it in and getting rid of it. Tesla stocks are dropping like crazy. And people are saying, we don't want Tesla in Canada. And the deputy mayor of Toronto is actually trying to get the lease for the Tesla dealership in Toronto rescinded, so they have to close down. Yeah, Scott, it's not a good look getting doing a photo shoot in a Tesla Cybertruck. I'll just say that. And well, you're hearing it in the comments, and so hopefully you learned something from that. If you don't want to upset your fans, seriously, especially your Canadian fans, and that is a swastika car now. If you see that vehicle, yeah, I'm judging you. You may have thought that was a status symbol a couple months ago. Well, now it makes you look like a fucking racist piece of shit if you're around one of those cars. And I know that's not who you are, Scott. You're not racist. You stand for Colin Kaepernick. So in some ways, being around a Cybertruck's not a good look for you, Scott. Let's just put it that way. It's not a good look. Yeah, there we go. Let's see. Roger Raymond's here. Good to see Raptor Freak Roger Raymond. Thank you for supporting the channel as a member. Good morning, Lex and Raptor Freak crew. I'm so glad you are in our corner, supporting humanity, decency, and goodwill for all. May God bless you and everyone who hears you, a real one. I appreciate that, Roger. I appreciate that. Yes, all the glory to God, and thank you for giving me the talents of gab and my tongue and be able to fast talk and do it in an intelligent way. And in some ways, it's my stand on the truth as far as like, you know what, they're going to try and distort perception and what this world is in an ugly way. They're going to try and take us back to dark ages, a world where white men rule and everybody else is just to cower and serve them. No, I believe in equality across all, whether it's gender, race, whatever it is. But these people that are trying to be empowered down south are white supremacists. And this is just the damn truth. Steve Bannon is the latest to throw up a whole Nazi salute at one of their events. So let's not get it twisted. Call a duck a duck. If it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. If it salutes like a Nazi, it's a Nazi. So yeah, we got to get on the right side of history once again and fight the Nazis, kick them in the face and put them back down and make them fucking go back in the shadows or maybe even decimate them right off this earth. Seriously, because we have no place for an old ass fucking white supremacist ideology that's being the lifeblood of running this MAGA fucking movement that's going on right now. Roger Raymond, blessings to you also. All the glory to God above, and thank you for giving me the gifts to do what I do on this every single day. I appreciate you being here. Trevor's saying they said Ingram had a blood clot before too. Yeah, he got cleared. He had some issues with this kind of stuff too, but he's cleared and okay with it. It's really nice to see footage of Brandon at practice putting up a bunch of threes in a row. Did y'all see this footage in the last day or so? Brandon down at the OVO Center shooting threes, and they're all going in, and he doesn't look that bad. Like, he can't run in certain ways because of his ankle still, but it's nice to see him putting up shots. And also, they were talking about how Brandon is doing conditioning and weight training already, even though he can't do stuff with his ankle. So much like Jacoby at the beginning of the year with his shoulder injury, not being able to do stuff in games or practice, he balled up and do stuff with his conditioning. Well, that's kind of what's going on the down low with Brandon right now. His ankle is not allowing him to participate, but he can still lift weights. He can still put up shots, and he can still work on certain things, even though. So, yeah. Reggie's saying with Vladdy, I think he wants to test free agency no matter what. From Jeff Pazan, most respected MLB insider, Vladdy said no to a lot, and I mean a lot of money from the Blue Jays. So maybe there's a little bit of a two-faced thing going on here. Maybe it's partly the business of the game. Vladdy's heart is in Toronto, and he says he would like to be a Blue Jay for the rest of his life. But, money and agents and advisement from agencies and saying, you only got a certain amount of years that you can earn at this kind of height. Well, you need to go get the most, and you need to ask them. And that, it doesn't make total sense. In some ways, Vladdy could say, I want to be on the Blue Jays. I really do. But you know what? The money's not lining up. He could be part of the problem on the down low, but he's trying to make himself look good with the fans. And that could be that. Now, he could blame his representation or his agent and what they're negotiating with Russ Atkins and all them. But yeah, this sounds like this is probably true on the down low. He, publicly, Vladdy can say, I want to be Blue Jays. I want to be Blue Jays. But behind the scenes, he may be saying, I want as much money as I can get. And that's it. Jeff Pazan is absolutely the most respected and informative person since, I don't know, people like Buster Only or other people from before that aren't around as much anymore that used to do baseball like they used to. What was it? Peter Gammons. He was really good for baseball back in the day, too. Most saying that there's a new interview with Danny Green out now. It's called You Only Die Twice with Warren Ward. Also, Warren is really good at what he does. Warren Ward, of course, is the color guy for the 905. And we'll be hearing him tonight during the 905 game against Westchester Knicks. That's cool. I didn't know about this interview. Maybe I'll have to check it out. I did not know that Warren was involved in it. I think I saw you posted in the chat. It was late, and I didn't get a chance to review it last night. Carlos said, I think Vladdy wants Juan Soto and Ohtani numbers. Well, I don't know the landscape of baseball. I don't know how their salary caps work. I don't know about any of this. I do know that the Blue Jays have been accused of being cheap in the past. And honestly, this kind of smacks of that. So I don't know. Norman in his interview said, they said that the Raptors couldn't keep all those guys together because of money, but he doesn't believe that. He really doesn't. If you watch the interview, when they bring up keeping the bench mob together and keeping the championship core together, Norman is very firmly believes that the MLSD and Masai and Bobby could have done more to keep Pascal and him and OG and Fred all together up till now. Even he thinks that they could have spent the money and kept that core together. Him personally, he says that. And he didn't agree with the Raptors completely switching from them to go forward the way they did. And he does. He does say at one point, no slight to Kyle, but it was a choice between me and Kyle at one point, and they chose Kyle. And that's when they traded him for Gary, is that point. Because I remember that point. I was talking about this with my friends at the time. Is before I did the channel. The Raptors are going to have to choose between Kyle Lowry and Norman Powell at this trade deadline because the way that things are going, they can't keep both. And at the time, I endorsed keeping Kyle, actually. And I was fine with what they did because I felt like they upgraded with youth, with Gary coming in to play for Norman. But some people were saying, no, we should have kept Norman. And Norman has let it be known that he would have taken less money and stayed in Toronto if he could have. He would have. He would have. He said that. He said that for sure. Let's see. Excuse me. Smooth saying Vladdy liked to post on Instagram of him in a Yankees uniform. Yeah, that's awful. I hate that. I hate that. It's turncoat, man. You could get on the bad side of Blue Jays real fast doing stuff like that. Vlad Guerrero Jr. Yeah. Blackhawks saying PK is on the dump train. F him. No loyalty to Canada. Is he on the dump train? What do you mean? He's on the... You mean he's on the Trump train? Is that what you're saying? Well, Wayne Gretzky's getting it right now. It's crazy how people came at Wayne, and rightfully so. He's been around Mar-a-Lago and around Trump on like election parties and stuff like that. And Wayne Gretzky, fuck you, man. You're a traitor to Canada. And it's crazy how the great one can go from maybe possibly the greatest hockey player of all time to being an absolute pariah to the Canadian people. Yeah, Wayne Gretzky, you're fucking up your life, bro. You're fucking up your life. I don't know about PK Subban. I don't care enough. Blackhawks saying Vladdy wants out. Best way to do that is ask for a shitload of money. Yeah, I mean, that's something not lining up. You say you want to stay a Blue Jay. The actions are showing different than the words. Smooth saying Vladdy has had 6 years in the Blue Jays uniform. Out of those 6 years, he's had two all-world seasons, top 10 MLB player. The other 4, he's been good. He's just been good. Okay, you got to take into account investment in a player and stuff like that. You know, think about things like Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks. Monique's got my cutoff. I love it. Carlos saying one lady I really hate too is Trump's press secretary. I don't even know who this lady is. I don't even know who she is. I don't want to see her. She's probably from Nightmare Factory. Laughing at our sovereignty. Hopefully we don't forget and these clowns become pariah after the clown show has been shut down. Well, the good news is that most of Americans do not believe in this shit, and they think it's a joke. It's not that it's a joke. They stand on our side. In fact, a lot of people are showing support for Canadians booing the U.S. anthem on that side because they're like, yeah, if we had somebody doing this to us, we'd do the same thing. And there's a lot of solidarity with Canada within the United States by most Americans, honestly. The percentage of Americans that are acting like this and trashy, like the press secretary, who I'm not in disbelief that she's acting like this and stuff like that. You know, there's senators for the U.S., Republican senators that are making offhand jokes, and some of the summits that are going on in Europe right now, and the Canadian representatives have come really at them and saying this is not joking matters and stuff like that. You guys cannot be acting like this because this is the way things work in this world as far as sovereignty and being free nations. And if the United States really is the beacon of democracy that they tell everybody they are, well, once again, actions speak louder than words. And if you want to act like Russia, well, you're not a democracy anymore. And you've blown your cover because America has been supporting democracy growing around the world. And democracy is allowing free countries to be free in their own sovereignty. And yeah, this is not American in the least. The ideals that are proposed by MAGA is really, really not. It's satanic. Once again, I'll say that again. I don't know who that lady is. I never want to see her in my life. She can fucking die for all I care about. I don't know who she is. I don't watch anything like this. I don't want to even fill my mind with this shit. Trevor saying Milwaukee's Bobby Portis suspended. We talked about this, Trevor. Don't recycle the news stories when we already covered this. We did Balco. We talked about Portis being out for 25 games. We covered this already. Please do not recycle news stories a couple days in a row. We've already talked about Bobby Portis. There's nothing to talk about with him. Reggie's saying, so the Jays have decided to let the market dictate the price. Whatever happens, I will always support the team. Yeah, if you want to be a fan of the team, you got to stick with your team no matter what. It's tough. Now, if I was a Mavericks fan, I'd think about switching teams, though, honestly. Smith saying the Juan Soto contract really changed things big time. Yeah, I'm not comfortable talking too much about baseball. We can do a little check-in with Vladdy, and I know this is really key on your mind right now, Reggie, as a big, huge Blue Jays fan, but I like to just dip my toe in it for like 2 minutes, and I don't want to do like 15 minutes on Vladdy. I really don't. Carlos saying SPM is an alternate timeline. We have Otani and Soto as our 1 and 2. SPM. Oh, smooth. That's how you guys acronym him. Yeah, once again, this is where my field of understanding baseball really is. I'm not even going to be able to talk on this in a logical or knowledgeable way because I don't know jack shit about MLB. Smith saying the Jays shot their shot and missed. Eventually, things will break the other way. We'll have to see. And so, some ways, I just always support the Blue Jays and the MLB. That's who I want to win in baseball. Go tempo. I like that. Trevor's saying 1,000 of those cars were returned back to the dealership because they do not start in the winter. Yeah, people are returning their cars, and Tesla stock is nosediving, just like Twitter did when he took that over too. Carlos said, I respectfully disagree with Norm. That previous Fred Pascal OG core was really struggling offensively, but it maybe was a nurse problem. Well, Norman blamed the lack of a center. He really did. And during that whole period of time, because he pointed to the Tampa season as the year that he really blossomed, and he started kind of taking over for the Raptors in a more bigger way than just being a bench guy coming in. And that's true because there was periods of times of that season when Kyle was not available and Norman and Fred were like running the whole show in the Tampa year and carrying us. What his point is, if they had gotten a center, a true center, like if they had gotten Jakob back sooner with them again, they would have been good, is what he said. He said we had all the positions except center, and that center was so important that it just didn't work right. So that's what he blames in that whole thing as far as things is they really needed a center. Stargate saying, I didn't agree with letting go of Pascal, even more so now that they have decided to sign Ingram. Yeah, I mean, I get that. But once again, the thing is about thinking about fit with Scott. And I know we can beat this subject over our heads over and over again like a dead horse about Siakam being here or not. Once again, I'll get back to my point earlier. The path's been chosen. We cannot go into an alternate universe or timeline where Siakam's still on our team right now, and maybe Kamala is the president right now. That'd be awesome. We're on this timeline. So we got to go ahead and deal with what we're dealing with right now. We can't go back and change it. It is what it is. And I trust in Bobby Masai on this. Seriously, I really like the core of what we're doing right now. And this would not be possible what we're doing right now if Siakam was still on our team. I just know it's true. So it was a tough thing to do. And I know it's tough, man. I love Siakam. I have a lot of sentimentality about him. But it was a tough thing to do. And sometimes you can hold on to the past where it drags you along and you're not getting anywhere in the future. And we made very tough cuts with our past in the last year to make sure we have a brand new future in a different way. And in some ways that's tough to do, but it's very daring and it's kind of like scary, but they did it right. And I'm really proud and happy they did it. Even if Siakam, we wish he was still here. Yeah, we could have invested and paid and kept him here. You're right. And that's what Norman's point is on the old man in the three, is that in some ways he intimates that the Raptors were cheap in keeping together his core, the bench mob on our team. And that's what he has an axe to grind with that. You can tell he does. He has an axe to grind with that. Smooth saying Trump's press secretary is the youngest ever, 27 years old. Yeah, I don't care about that. And she's married to a 61-year-old. Yeah, that just sounds like gross MAGA world shit. She's probably waiting for him to die so you can get all his money. All right. And Pascal's really cooking for Indiana. Yeah, I love to see that. I saw his little one-footed 3-point shot, big time shot. And yeah, keep going, Indiana. I'm rooting for you guys to go far and make postseason noise. Always rooting for Pascal. We love our Siakam. We really, really do. All right, let me go check on some of the other tabs I have here real quick. Let's see if there's any breaking news on Blue Skies real quick. Let's see. Blake Murphy is saying that Tyler Hero is probable for the Heat. Kevin Love and Smith are out. Christopher, Johnson, and Stevens are down with the G League. And Roden is currently listed as with the Raps. 905 play as well. Yeah, I think that Roden is with the team, and that's signified by him being at MLSC Launchpad last night. He was with them.
at the whole team function with Jacoby's thing. And I'm pretty sure Roden is in Toronto. He's not in Westchester. So Andrew Jones is going to have a shortened team. In some ways, he's going to be lacking all the rookies, Shamshay, because of his injury, and Jared Roden. And the main guys that are going to be really carrying the 905 against Westchester Knicks tonight will be Eugene Omeroy, Frank Kaminsky, AJ Lawson, Evan Gilliard II. Quincy's not even with them because Quincy went to Team Canada. So 905's at a weak spot. They're in a really weak place with their roster, and they're not totally fleshed out with as much talent as possible. We'll see this new guy, Lacey, who's coming in. He probably will play tonight, so we'll have to check him out, the new center that the 905 picked up while Quincy's out. So we'll have to see how they do tonight. Also, because Shamshay's out, they needed to add in a new center, and that's why Lacey got added to the team. So hopefully the 905 can hang with the Westchester Knicks pretty good. They've had trouble with the Knicks, Westchester Knicks at times this season, including the game that we all went to the other day in December. So, yeah, that's what it's saying right there. And, yeah, Scotty Barnes is gunning for the play-in. It's in the Raptors' best interest to finish the season with the most lottery balls possible. That's your opinion, Michael Grange, and your bullshit. But Scotty Barnes wants to play in the play-in. And if Scotty wants that, I want what Scotty wants. That's what I'm saying. On Raptors Reddit, they're talking about Charles Barkley congratulating Canada. Sorry, we got tariffs on you. They were playing harder because they did not want to be the 51st state. And that's the quote by Charles on Inside the NBA last night. Fantastic stuff. And, yeah, just good stuff on Canada winning in the hockey game last night. There's Notorious BI3 putting up shots in OVO like I was talking about. And it's on Raptors Reddit right there. And there's even a whole thing about Scotty saying that they want to win. Let's see what Raptors Reddit people are saying in the comments about Scotty talking about how we want to win and we don't want to tank and we're going for the play-in. Let's see. Well, I don't blame players for feeling that way. After all, it is the front office who tanks, not the players. Bingo. That's pretty good. I, too, look at the standings every day on Tankathon. Okay, you're a loser. The lottery he's talking about is winning the lottery. Okay, the lottery he's talking about is winning the lottery. What does he mean right there? Very thankful our leader is win at all costs. I like that. There's a good Raptor fan right there. This is the right mindset. When you step on the court, you must compete. Yeah, so the Raptors Redditors are doing a pretty good job talking about this stuff like that. So, yeah, some of them are out of pocket and being disrespectful also at the same time. Happy birthday to Andre Barrett, former Raptor Andre Barrett. Has turned 43 today, 43 years old. Andre Barrett, former Raptor player. You probably don't even know who that is. Y'all, check on your fantasy basketball teams. They are in effect right now. So make sure you get your team lineup set up because there's lots going on there that you need to do to win your team stuff. All right, let's go ahead and do the classic card. We're at 2:21. Maybe we'll get done in 2.5 hours. Let's see. We've been getting from this series a lot. Okay, this is a fun one. This is weird because it doesn't even look like the guy. All right, so let's see who's going to get. Speaking of Indiana and Pascal, here's a Pacers card for you guys today. Looks like we got Robert Parrish in the background there and Reggie Lewis. That looks like Reggie Lewis for the Celtics. And, of course, Chris Ford, the coach of the Celtics at the time in the background too. But who is the Indiana player, guys? If you guys know who this is, actually, this is funny. His nickname is a hot topic right now in Raptors land. So I'll bring this up afterwards. But you guys know who this Pacer is. Number 41 of the Indiana Pacers at this time was around when Reggie was playing for the team. So which Indiana Pacer is this guy right here? His nickname is a clue about what we just talked about with the Raptors right now. If you know his nickname, you'll know why. It's a clue. There you go. LaSalle Thompson is right. Slugdeezy, do you know what his nickname is for extra point? I'll give you an extra 50 points if you know what his nickname is. It is LaSalle Thompson. What is his one-word nickname? Do you guys know it? I want to give a bonus point for this. It's funny. It's not Byron Scott. That's a center. That's a power forward center. LaSalle Thompson is the right answer. Anybody going to write in his nickname? Don't try and look it up. Just if you know it off the top of your head, you can go ahead and write it in. His nickname, guys, is the same nickname as Frank Kaminsky. He's Tank. LaSalle Tank Thompson. So it's kind of funny that on today's topic, nobody got it in time. It was an expired thing. LaSalle Tank Thompson is his name. He's built like a tank. So yeah, that's LaSalle Thompson. There he is against the Bucks and former Raptor. That looks like Alvin Robertson there. Yeah. Do I buy boxes? Trevor sent these to me. He sent me this big, huge box full of classic cards, and these are all ones we haven't done yet, I think, unless these are ones we already did. No, these are ones we haven't done yet. and they'll come through at some point. So Trevor is the commissions the fun of sending me the classic cards in the mail. And I have no idea what he sent to me. So I'm just pulling them out. And I don't even know what they are. But that's LaSalle Thompson, Tank Thompson. Slug Deezy's going to get the points today. I'm going to give you 150 for this one. It is slightly difficult card, LaSalle. I'm surprised you guys didn't get the Tank Thompson extra points, though. Because, yeah, Tank was his name. Slug Deezy, 150 points for today's classic card. And LaSalle Thompson. Boom. There you go. There you go. Yeah. Trevor bought these and sent them to me. He's been sending me the classic cards in the mail. That's one of the ways he helps produce the show and commissions the fun. I can't wait to get back out to my studio. I know Trevor's maybe a little annoyed with me because I'm not using the chair he sent me. And David also, because the trophy's not sitting behind me all the time. But the studio's absolutely snowed in. The snow is up the halfway up the door. And just to get out there, and because there's no heat out there, really, it's not to the house. I have to put a lot of heaters on out there to get it warm up. And that's why I'm not going out there every day, because it's freaking cold. And I want to just stay in the hot part of the house. And that's why you guys aren't seeing the fantastic studio that I started the season with. When the weather's warmer and things start to melt and I can get out to the studio easier, you will see the chair again, Trevor. I promise you. And you'll see the studio correctly. So, yeah. There you go. He's back, baby. I think I still got some cold shivers. Oh, I don't like to hear that. I want you to feel better, Kareem. Dunk champion Kareem Thomas, the full butt dialer. Yeah, I hope you feel better as soon as possible. Yeah, let's see. Love the design of those. Yeah, this set is a upper deck set, which is normally a baseball card. And yeah, we've been getting this set like pretty much for all the cards recently. Is this upper deck set with the same kind of look to them. And so it's a certain time period. It's the very early 90s is what we're getting the cards for. Michael Cage, once again. There you go. Yeah, they're fun. They're fun. We had more recent cards for a little while there. All right, let's do the rundown real quick in the last 5 minutes here, and I'll get out here in 2.5 hours. Once again, guys, the Raptors injury report is this. PJ Tucker is out because of personal problems. Personally, he doesn't want to be on the Raptors, and he's waiting to get moved. And Bobby and Masai are playing chicken with him. They're waiting for him to just rip off his contract and say, or get bought out or something to leave so he can maybe go to another team. No, they're just going to sit there and say, yeah, you're fine. We'll use the roster spot. We don't care if you're not going to play or show up. And you know what? We'll do a Vechenkov to you. If you really want to get out of it, we'll rip up your contract. And then we'll move on after that. No, PJ's okay getting his money and getting paid an insane amount of money to do nothing. So it's just going to be like this. I can see this standoff happening for the whole season. And they just run him out, and he comes off the books at the end of the year, and he's expiring. And the other thing is we're not paying for this. Miami's paying for this. So we aren't actually paying for him. So we have no incentive to do anything with PJ. We could just sit like this the whole entire rest of the year. Jakob is the main key injury tonight. He is ruled out for tonight. He's not ready to come back from his hip pointer, but he's close. And I'll tell you this, he may not play tonight, but he probably play on Sunday. So we will probably see Jakob back then. Shamshe, of course, is out for the rest of the season due to a tear of his MCL. And Brandon Ingram is not going to be back for at least a month. That's what they're saying, what I'm looking at. So I'm speculating the starting lineup will be the regular starters. Barbecue Dick, along with Jonathan Mobo, is starting in the place of Jakob Poeltl. On the other side, Miami does have some key injuries. Tyler Hero is probable right now. He may play. He's probably going to play. Kevin Love is out, and Drew Smith is out. And I'm speculating the starting lineup for the Miami Heat tonight will be Davion Mitchell, possibly, probably not. It'll be Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Andrew Wiggins, Bam Adebayo, and Kel'el Ware. The rookie is starting now. The refs for the G League game tonight, Raptors 905 at Westchester Knicks, Tyler Murkovich, Ken Jones, and AJ Ganelli. And for the Raptors game at Scotiabank Arena, Caribbean night, Miami Heat at Toronto Raptors. James Williams is the crew chief. He favors the Miami Heat. Ray Acosta is the second ref. He favors the Miami Heat. And the third ref, Matt Myers, is the only one that favors the Raptors out of the three refs tonight. There you go, guys. That's pretty much it. I've done my Instagram stories. I've checked in on Reddit and Blue Skies for a second. We did the birthdays also. I hope you guys have a fantastic Friday. TJI up. And let's just keep shining light in this world. And remember, always be against the Nazis, bro. When there's Nazis, if you're standing with them or you're okay with them or you're saying, well, they're just doing this, well, you are doing the Nazi sympathizer stuff. And there were a lot of really nice people in Nazi Germany that looked the other way when Hitler was doing some fucked up shit. So, well, this is the same kind of thing that's going on in history right now. If you're okay with things that are going on in the States right now, you're complicit with the new Fourth Reich, Nazi, white supremacy, and you're disgusting. You got to pick a side. I'm sorry. If you stand on the sidelines and say, I'm not involved in this, you're on that side. We all have to come and fight when fascism comes to us. And that's what's happening right now in the United States. So we got to do what we got to do. All right, y'all. I appreciate everybody for watching me. Thank you, Canada. Thank you for winning that game last night, hockey team. Go on, Connor McDavid. You're a hero to me, man. And you will always be a legend in Canadian history from now on. Holy crap. You just made it the big time, baby. You already were a fantastic Canadian individual. And well, you really are now, Connor McDavid. Wow. Fantastic stuff. Go Canada. I'm so proud of my country. I'm so proud that we won the Four Nations Cup last night. Let's go Canada. And let's go Raptors tonight against the Heat. Beat the Heat, baby. Let's beat the Heat, baby. Heat is off. The heat is off.